कृषि की हो, मैकेनिकल इंजीनियरिंग की हो, मुझे हाईटेक कंप्यूटर चाहिए, वर्क स्टेशन चाहिए जो कि वो उसमें तो सभी अवेलेबल है। तो स्टूडेंट के लिए एक अच्छा एक्सपोजर्स आते हैं, इवन फैकल्टी के लिए। एंड वन मोर थिंग इज, आप विजिट कर सकते हो। श्योरली आप एक काम कर सकते हो कि जैसे 40-50 स्टूडेंट्स हैं, उनके साथ में इंक्लूडिंग दी फैकल्टी मेंबर्स, आप एक विजिट कर सकते हो, जो एक बड़ी अच्छी अपॉर्चुनिटी है विजिट करने के लिए।
अच्छा, इसमें सर एक क्वेश्चन था मेरा, जैसे आप लोग 6 महीने की ड्यूरेशन की ट्रेनिंग कराते हो, तो इसमें थोड़ी फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी भी रहती है। जैसे हमारे एचपी टेक्निकल यूनिवर्सिटी में ड्यूरेशन रहती है 4 मंथ, 4 महीने की, तो ऐसा फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी हो जाती है?
जनरली होती है, पर करा दो। ऑफिशियली 6 मंथ की ही ट्रेनिंग होती है। आप ऐसे लेके चलिए कि डिफेंस एस्टेब्लिशमेंट में 15 से 20 दिन लगेंगे उसकी सिक्योरिटी क्लियरेंस को बच्चे को। अगर उसकी ट्रेनिंग महीने की होती है तो दिक्कत, पर करवा देंगे, अनऑफिशियली होता है।
इस सर का पॉइंट ये है ना कि वैसे तो 6 मंथ ही बोला जाता है ट्रेनिंग का।
हाँ, मैं भी सेम ही बोल रहा हूँ कि वो 6 मंथ में ही आएगा,
बट एक्चुअल
में 4 मंथ में
होता है।
उसकी एप्लीकेशन 6 मंथ में ही सबमिट करेंगे।
चलो, हम आपका बेनिफिट जरूर लेंगे
डेफिनेटली सर, आई एम ऑलवेज ओपन
विजिट्स के लिए भी। और आपने बोले दिया बिलासपुर ही है तो
उसमें जब मेरे यही था, जैसे डेवलपमेंट थी ना, तब मैं चाहता था कि आज ही जुड़ जाता हूँ इंस्टीट्यूट। वंस से जुड़ गया तो फाइनली लंबे टाइम तक चलती है।
नहीं, मैं पंचकुला, मुझे पता है डीआरडीओ हैज इट सेंटर देयर, बट मतलब आपका पूरा सेटअप है, बट मैं आ नहीं पाया आज तक कभी।
बट नाउ आई विल डेफिनेटली आई ओपन इनविटेशन आपके।
थैंक यू सो मच, थैंक यू
थैंक यू
थैंक यू थैंक यू।
थोड़ा सा क्वेश्चन सेशन बच्चों से
नाइस, वेरी नाइस। एक्चुअली ना बच्चों को रिसर्च का पता बीटेक लेवल पे होना चाहिए कि कर क्या रहे हैं, पढ़ क्यों रहे हैं, हम मटेरियल पढ़ रहे हैं, मटेरियल की स्टडी होती क्यों है।
मैं बीएस का मेंबर हूं, तो बीएस में क्या हुआ ना, बोले कि अभी जब इंडस्ट्री चेंज हो रही है।
थैंक यू सर for taking time to join us today. The knowledge and perspectives shared by you have been undoubtedly insightful and have enriched our understanding of terminal ballistics, advanced personal protective systems like body armors, biomimetics, and non-Newtonian fluids. We would be honored to connect with you on future events like training and internship of our students. Our next speaker is Professor Vijay Kumar Thakur, and he will join us at 1:10. Between that, if any of our attendees has any question, they may please ask. If any of our students or any attendees have any question, they may please ask.
मैं निकल जाऊंगा, लंच तो करके जाएंगे, लंच में घर नहीं खाऊंगा वैसे। बच्चों क्वेश्चन ले लेता हूँ, ऐसे इंटरेक्शन करा दो जिसने बच्चों से करा तो भाई
एक इंटरेक्शन। This is one of the great opportunity for you, right? Whatever comes to your mind, please ask, right? I said this is one time opportunity. Conferences are meant for this only, right? Getting my point? So I think students, they should ask openly. Whatever comes to your mind, it can be a foolish thing also.
मैं ओपनली बोल रहा हूँ कि आप जो आपको क्वेरीज होंगी, नॉट इवन द टेक्निकल, नंबर ऑफ टाइम स्टूडेंट की क्वेरीज आती है कि करियर को लेकर ही क्वेरीज,
बिल्कुल आप कुछ भी पूछ सकते हैं,
जॉब को लेकर होती है। यहाँ पर एक्सपोजर नहीं होता हिमाचल में आपके पास ना।
बच्चे आप ये पूछ सकते हो डीआरडीओ ज्वाइन कैसे करना है, आप डूइंग माय बीटेक, क्या करूं मैं?
डेफिनेटली, जैसे आप बीटेक कि हाउ टू बी साइंटिस्ट इन डीआरडीओ, क्या साइंटिस्ट के अलावा भी कोई लाइन है? सैलरी कितनी होती है?
अच्छा, आपने अभी इन रिपब्लिक डे परेड देखी है सभी बच्चों ने? डीआरडीओ को देखा, वहां पे कुछ था डीआरडीओ, उसी तरह सीएसआईयू का भी था, सीएसआईआर का भी था। So that means they are doing great for our armed forces as well. Defense के लिए भी कर रहे हैं. So what additional projects they are doing? What additional is doing? What DRDO is doing? What actually they are into? कर क्या रहे हैं? क्या करते हैं? You can ask anything.
अभी मून पर जो इंडिया का देखा था, उसकी टेस्टिंग टीजीएल में ही हुई है। उसके बाद जो मैन ऑन स्पेस में जाने के लिए है, उसकी टेस्टिंग भी हमारे पास नहीं होती है। जब हम टर्मिनल बात करते हैं तो टर्मिनल इज नॉट ऑफ द होली एनीथिंग, इवन जो स्पेस शटल्स होती हैं, अगर मान लीजिए कि किसका पैराशूट है वो ओपन अप होगा या नहीं होगा वहां जाकर, उसकी टेस्टिंग भी हमारे वैसे चलती है।
मतलब डायरेक्टली किसी चीज को प्रोडक्ट में कन्वर्ट करने से पहले उसकी टेस्टिंग तो करोगे, उसको बनाओगे, मटेरियल लेवल पे काम करना सर ने ये बताया आपको, इट्स अ ग्रेट वर्क, राइट। बट आपके माइंड में कई क्वेश्चन आ सकते हैं ना कि आप और कौन-कौन सी फील्ड्स में काम कर रहे हैं। ऑब्वियसली सीएससी की फील्ड भी होगी, सर ने अभी आपको एक पर्टिकुलर एंगल दिखाया है डीआरडीओ का, इट इज नॉट कि डीआरडीओ इज ओनली वर्किंग इन दैट पर्टिकुलर डोमेन। और दूसरा बेस्ट ही हैज सेड कि यू हैव टू विजिट डीआरडीओ, यू गो देयर, look at the projects. I wanted to take them to CSIU also. Even CSIU में बड़े अच्छे प्रोजेक्ट्स चल रहे हैं, so one day we are signing an MOU with CSIU, तो हम हाँ चंडीगढ़, तो हम काफी अब आगे और बच्चों को वहाँ एक्सपोजर देना चाहेंगे, but you need to ask few things, है ना। आप बात करें, जितना ये अपॉर्चुनिटी है once they are here, और सर बिलासपुर के हैं, ऐसा नहीं है कि आज ही आए हैं तो जब मर्जी बुला लिया करेंगे, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है। बट पता नहीं मुझे दिखाई दे रहे, सुनाई नहीं दे रहे, है ना।
डिपार्टमेंट में क्या कि सिलेक्शन ऑफ टॉपिक इज गोइंग ऑन फॉर दिस सेमेस्टर ना, टू शो प्रोजेक्ट्स।
एक्चुअली क्या होना, हमारे ऑप्शन है इंडस्ट्रियल ट्रेनिंग की, जो आपने कहा 6 मंथ्स की, दूसरा है अपना प्रोजेक्ट। अगर कोई बच्चा इंडस्ट्री में करना चाहता है,
मैं जैसे आपको जो रेफरल रेंजेस आती हैं, रेफरल रेंज की मीन की, जैसे कि मान लो कि पहले जो आर्मी वाले ट्राइब होते थे ना गोलियों के लिए, उसकी AK-47 की रेंज 1 किलोमीटर है, तो आपको रेंज 1 किलोमीटर खाली छोड़नी पड़ेगी। उनके लिए पोर्टेबल रेफरल रेंज होती है, ऐसे करके दीवारों की स्ट्रक्चर ऐसे बना देते हैं कि कोई भी बुलेट ट्रैप होकर बाहर ना जाता है, दैट इज बीइंग डेवलप्ड बाय द सिविल इंजीनियर ओनली, है ना। उसको लेकर बड़े प्रोजेक्ट है, 50-60 करोड़ रुपए का प्रोजेक्ट है। अब मान लीजिए कि ऐसी ही रेंजेस आप पुलिस ने एक फायरिंग करनी है, ओके, उसको रेंज में ऐसी भी चाहिए कि ऐसा ना हो कि सारा दिन यहाँ पर एक रेजिडेंशियल एरिया है, गोलियों की आवाजें आती रहे, तो उनके लिए एक ऐसी टेस्टिंग रेंज डेवलप करना पुलिस वालों के लिए, अगेन सिविल वाले काम करते हैं, जिसकी वॉल्स ऐसी होती है कि अब एक्वेस्टिक वॉल्स है, सारे के सारे इसी बिग काम होता है सिविल इंजीनियर का।
अगर इस सेमेस्टर में कोई अगर प्रोसीड करना चाहता हूँ,
अभी इस सेमेस्टर का मीनिंग मतलब जो रनिंग है, कोई है तो बात कर सकते हैं अभी,
हाँ तो किसी बात की
पर एक चीज लेके चलना है कि जो ज्वाइन करे वो एक ऑन करे, तो मतलब किस तरह करे, ऐसा ना हो कि आपकी वजह से अगला कभी कोई स्टूडेंट आए, बीच में किसी को एंटर कराना है तो टोटल वीआईपी सीट है।
प्रोसीजर क्या होगा सर?
और ट्रेनिंग, अभी ट्रेनिंग के लिए आप मैडम से बात करो, मैडम मेरे से नंबर ले लेंगे और ट्रेनिंग हो जाएगी।
करेंगे बच्चों, डोंट वरी, विल हैव आवर
एक ये पॉसिबल आप 6 मंथ की ट्रेनिंग की बात कर रहे हो?
नो सर, अगर हमें डीआरडीओ,
अगर आपने डीआरडीओ ज्वाइन करना है एज ए साइंटिस्ट, तो एज ऑन टुडे जो साइंटिस्ट की पोस्टिंग होती है वो होती है गेट के स्कोर के बेस पर, और गेट स्कोर है भी चाहिए। आप ऐसा ले सकते हैं कि जिसका ऑल इंडिया गेट रैंक 20 है उसको कॉल नहीं आती है इंटरव्यू के लिए, क्योंकि सीट 2 है तो 12 पर खत्म हो जाती है, टॉप करते हैं। इफ यू हैव टू जॉइन एज ए साइंटिस्ट देन द रूट इज थ्रू गेट, पर देयर आर अदर स्कोप्स आल्सो। आप प्रोजेक्ट साइंटिस्ट प्रोजेक्ट ट्रेनिंग भी ज्वाइन करते हैं जिसमें 40,000 के करीब सैलरी मिलती है, पर सबसे अच्छी चीज ऐसी होती है कि जब आपको 40,000 सैलरी मिल रही है तब आपकी एजुकेशन कंटिन्यूड है, आप क्या कर रहे होते हो, पीएचडी कर रहे होते हो, और जो एक्सपोजर उसके साथ में मिलता है उसमें सैलरी लड़ाई नहीं रहती है। तो आपके पास अपॉर्चुनिटी है, या तो आप एज ए जस्ट आफ्टर इंजीनियरिंग आप प्रोजेक्ट फेलो ज्वाइन कर सकते हो। दूसरी पॉसिबिलिटी है कि जैसे कि ये ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ रिकमेंडेशन है, आपके किसी स्टूडेंट की मेरे पास रिकमेंडेशन आती है, मुझे मालूम है कि मैंने इसको करवाना है, तो जो आईआईटी में हमारे पास प्रोजेक्ट होते हैं उनमें भी तो मैन पावर होती है, तो हम उसको आईआईटी में ज्वाइन करवा लेते हैं और उसको मैं ले आता हूं अपने पास लेते हैं। अब उसको फी आईआईटी दे रही है, डिग्री की आईआईटी से हो रही है, बट सेम टाइम ही इज वर्किंग इन दी डीआरडीओ। एक ये ऑप्शन है आपके पास।
तो जो प्रोजेक्ट एसोसिएट सर ने बता दिया, दिस इज वन ऑप्शन, बट गो फॉर गेट स्कोर।
गेट स्कोर
टारगेट शुड बी हाई।
आपको कैलोरी
बोला कि आप फैकल्टी में ना आप
एडवर्टाइज
एक-
करते हैं, एडवर्टाइज करते हैं, डीआरडीओ कोई भी प्रोजेक्ट करवाना होता है,
नहीं फैकल्टी की तरफ से
ओवरऑल है फैकल्टी प्रयास फॉर कोलैबोरेशन है।
कोलैबोरेशन के लिए हो जाएगा। कोलैबोरेशन के लिए मैं बोलता रहा हूँ कि जब आप विजिट करते हो स्टूडेंट आते हैं तब आपको ये समझ आता है कि ये लाइन में मैं कोलैबोरेट कर सकती हूँ, तो फिर जुड़ते हैं। जैसे मान लीजिए कि अभी मेरे पास जितने प्रोजेक्ट हैं जो अभी मैंने रिसेंट ट्रेंड शुरू किया, मैं एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को प्रोजेक्ट ही नहीं देता हूँ, उसमें मैं क्या करता हूँ दूसरी को साथ में जोड़ देता हूँ, 3 लैब से जुड़ गई। तो जैसे सपोज कीजिए कि मेरे पास एक प्रोजेक्ट आया है लेट इट बी रिलेटेड टू द पेपर, तो आप मेरे पास नोन हो फैकल्टी, तो मैं उसको बोल देता हूँ कि इनको मैडम को साथ में रखो।
इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर कहाँ पे यूज करेंगे?
बाद में करते हैं बात, और बात करते हैं प्लीज। ही इज जॉइनिंग फ्रॉम यूएसए फिर इसके बाद
Distinguished guests, please join me in welcoming our next esteemed speaker, Professor Vijay Kumar Thakur. Dr. Vijay Kumar Thakur is professor in new products from biomass, agriculture, and business management in Biorefining and Advanced Materials Research Center, United Kingdom. He is a polymer chemist by qualification and materials scientist by training. His research activities span the disciplines of biorefining, biomaterials, green chemistry, composites manufacturing, nanomaterials, polymers, and all aspects of advanced and sustainable materials. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to Professor Vijay Kumar Thakur.
you're muted.
Okay, namaskaram and good afternoon to everyone. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let me share the screen. At the outset, I would like to express my sincere thanks to the organizers for extending me the invitation to present our work we have been doing over the last few years. Prior to starting, a little bit about SRUC. SRUC is a premier higher education research institute that sits within the University of Edinburgh. We primarily focus on agriculture, food, and veterinary-related research, echoed by lots of engineering applications. Among the pandemic, we were able to generate more than 50 million of research funding that has been high most from any of the UK universities or researcher, and it has been done through our research and consultancy being known as SSC. And over the past 15 years, my research has been focused on the core theme of synthesis and manufacturing of sustainable and functional materials for the future. We have been developing different types of materials, starting from low CTE nanocomposite for aerospace application to new nanomaterial-based biosensor for defense, wind turbine blade these days for energy application. One of the area at present is recycling of agro and industrial waste for valuable product. Then we have been also touching the area of biomedical application through development of new bio-based membrane and hydrogels. And current thrust at SRUC and Edinburgh has been on multifunctional material that has been strongly reinforced by new sustainability aspect, developing different types of sustainable monomers, polymers, then adding self-healing characteristic to them for engineering and biomedical application, and using most of the advanced manufacturing techniques such as additive manufacturing, 3D printing, and 4D printing, and so on. If I talk about materials world, we know the human civilization has gone through different ages, starting from stone, bronze, and iron age. However, currently the age is known as plastic and semiconductor age, and both these types of materials developed during these two domains are being combined to develop different types of next generation engineering materials that is echoed by new nanomaterials, or we can say a new technique known as nanotechnology. In the materials world, There are alone more than 70,000 of different kinds of engineering material that we knowingly or unknowingly come across. And this list keep growing day by day depending upon the need and need of the society as well as of the environment. Here we can see we have been developing some sort of smart window from new materials that can control the temperature depending upon whether you are sitting in a more of a coastal country like Singapore or you are in UK or west coast of US and so on. So using the combination of different technology, we can develop different types of materials. And here is one such example nicely presented how our civilization has gone from one technology to another, and at the last if we see we are getting the same posture because we are these days using excessively the techniques, especially computer and so on. And all these materials, they have been used in most of the Hollywood movies in more of a romantic way. We can see, if some of you might be watching Hollywood movies, you can see these type of wonder materials. They are supposed to be magic, but they are nothing. They are a proper combination of new materials and nanotechnology technique, and then added by some of the new fictions. For example, our civilizations, they have known nanotechnology since many centuries. If you go to UK in some of the museum in London, you will see some of the cups where they have been continuously showing different types of shades or colors. Same is the case with different cathedral across Europe. And this is nothing but the change of size in the materials. For example, the gold, under different nanometric scale, it shows different colors. Below the less 20 nanometer, it might be purple or roll of a red color, but if you go beyond 80 nanometer or so on, you will find a yellow color. And hundreds years ago, it was known as a beautiful art, and now we call it a nanotechnology added by advanced instrumentation techniques. And if we want to see the example of nanotechnology in our everyday life, here we can see our nail, it grows at the rate of 1 nanometer in 1 second, while beard of any person, it grows at the rate of 5 nanometer per second. So nanotechnology has been there around, but now these days, researchers are trying to combine different expertise to come up with new and advanced functional materials. In this direction, sustainability has come as another research direction where any of the material be developed irrespective of the field. It is important that sustainability concept is added so that we can meet the aim of net zero emission by 2050. And what really sustainability is, according to discipline, whether it is humanity, science, engineering, different people define sustainability in different ways. And according to World Commission on Environment and Development, anything that meets the needs of today's generation without compromising the needs of tomorrow's generation comes under the category of sustainability. And luckily, all the green materials we see around us, they comes under the category of sustainability. We have been making use of different types of biomass, whether they are biorenewable, low cost or high cost, again, depending upon the application. We have been developing different types of green materials and polymers from them, and then again, recycling them to get the net zero emission target. So we have been primarily following the cycle of recycle, reduce, and reuse, and these days going for 6R, mean remanufacturing. And why there is so much thrust on sustainability and functional material? The answer lies in front of us. Today, our oceans, they have more microplastic than fishes. Then by 2050, a significant part of the generation, they will not have access to good food and water. Similar is the case with energy. So we must use advanced technology to cater the needs of future generation. Even Bill Gates has once said that we always overestimate the changes that will occur in the next 2 years and underestimate the change that will occur in the next 10 years. So in this direction, we have been working on development of different material, starting from sustainable hydrogel for biomedical application, orthopedic plants as well. and then using sustainable nanomaterial more for structural application, and then new class of piezoelectric nanomaterial that can give a minor amount of energy. You can say energy at more of a micro at nano level, but it can be used for some of the advanced application such as sensors or structural health monitoring in case of aerospace composite material, or more of health monitoring in biomedical application. And we have been working extensively with Professor Steve Hoffman in Cambridge to develop new type of piezoelectric material. And in this direction, we have been also developing new type of sustainable graphene, again, making use of different types of waste so that it can be used for both biomedical application as well as for structural applications. Similarly, we have been making use of new advanced green polymerization technique to engineer graphene so that it can be used for higher end engineering applications. Building upon our previous knowledge on bio-inspired surface engineering of nanomaterial and polymers, we have been able to engineer graphene that is one of the most fascinating material, but very difficult to functionalize in more of an aqueous medium. In this, we built upon polydopamine hydrochloride, that is a synthetic mimic of muscle adhesive protein, and graphene, a superhydrophobic material. But through this material, we were able to engineer it in such a way that it can remain water suspensible up to 6 months. And this work was carried out one of my former student at Greenfield University. She did master with us, and currently she is doing her PhD with Professor Ferrari in Cambridge. Similarly, we have been developing different types of these nanomaterials for biosensing application or some of application related to defense. And in another area, we have been also looking into, as I showed in one of the application for smart windows. In that direction, we have been developing different types of electrochromic material, followed by development of new sustainable polymer electrolyte. Generally, it is supposed that the combination of polymers and nanomaterial, it brings to high dielectric properties that are highly essential for some of the defense application, especially in high energy density capacitor, because polymer offers a number of advantages in terms of large area manufacturing, high breakdown strength, but they have low dielectric values in terms of dielectric constant. However, in other case of ceramic material that are the most sought material for these high energy density capacitor application, they have very high dielectric constant, but very low breakdown strength. So it is thought that the combination of these properties will give to some of the new super material, but it's still far short of expectation. So we came up with the new technology to how to surface engineer PVDF. That is one of the most hydrophobic polymer known so far. In this case, we made use of electron beam radiation, and then we were able to surface engineer it using again dopamine hydrochloride, and were able to successfully engineer its surface. And when we measured its electrical properties, as you can see, there was significant enhancement, at least 3 times than the existing value of the PVDF in the system. And then we studied also the temperature and effect of another parameters that were absolutely in line with our expectation. And we did publish this paper in Journal of Materials Chemistry a few years back. Similarly, we were wanted to explore how this technique can be used to engineer another polymer that are more of commodity polymer used for everyday life application. We did engineer polypropylene, most important commodity polymer known for structural application where we don't need high mechanical strength. In this case, what we did, we made use of silica nanoparticle and then simply mixed it without any modification. And we found that polypropylene engineered with polydopamine, it gives significantly higher mechanical properties. Similarly, during the work we have done on engineering of PVDF, we were approached by a company based in Germany where they wanted to come up with something like a capacitor that has dielectric properties at least in the range of 100. So we did engineer it with aniline. Aniline is known as a conducting polymer, but we built upon its another property, and we use graft copolymerization technique to engineer it more at a nanoscale level. and we were able to develop some sort of nanocapacitor within this system, and we were able to get the highest dielectric constant known for any polymer so far, over 1100, and this technology has been successfully transferred to Genome Technology Limited. Now they have been transferred to Singapore. Earlier they were based in Singapore. Building upon our work, we have summarized also our finding in chemical reviews, and if you are interested in knowing how polymer can be engineered for flexible electronic application, especially for high energy density capacitor, you are more than welcome to go through this article. Similarly, we have been developing new type of piezoelectric material, as I said earlier, for structural health monitoring, where we can see what's going on in a system, because two field, especially biomedical and aerospace, they are very critical. In this case, you don't have a second chance. Suppose a plane is flying and something happened in the plane, then you cannot repair it. So there is no second chance. In this case, we have been developing new type of sensor, embedding them in the system. We were supported by BAE System, that is known as one of the largest manufacturer of weapon in the world. They wanted to come up with some of self-powered helicopter by 2050, and we have done some work in this direction, sponsored by them. Similarly, we try to engineer different types of nanomaterial, again using biometric technique, and interestingly, we got very good result as well for this one. Here is example of, again, building upon our previous technique, we tried to incorporate another molecule into PVDF so that we get strongly higher dielectric properties. Here you can see we use simple BTO nanoparticle without any modification, simply use the engineered polymer matrix, and it again show very high dielectric properties. And here are some of the example. We have been also developing new type of nano generator system, again mainly for our sponsor BAE System, as well as we have also been looking for biomedical application toward with University College London, where we are trying to 3D print these nanomaterial into new polymer so that we can see how they can behave or how they can provide us some of the insight that have been going within the body. In another area, we have been looking into development of new carbon or carbon dot-based material. Significant work is going on, but as I said, we have been mainly looking into use of biomass-based material, especially lignocellulosic biomass and paper waste, then transform into carbon dot and look into its use as electrode material, as well as another component for supercapacitor and battery-related application. Then we have been also looking into how to recycle batteries. These days, we might have seen about a lot of news going on, hybrid vehicle fires going on, irrespective of a lot of these hybrid technology, or we can say fuel-less vehicles. But one of the critical concern about these material is recycling of the battery being used in vehicle is a tedious process. This is not more of environmentally friendly way, and also most of the video we come across, there is always some sort of fire, and all this happen because of the lithium ion and another system that make up of the battery. And here you can see, irrespective of who is the manufacturer, all of the electronic equipment, cars or so on, they always susceptible to some of the fire, sometime in laptop batteries and so on. All these happen because of these lithium ion syrup within the battery. Here, Samsung as well, they have recalled many batteries and so on. So as we say, from dream phone to next generation smartphone, everyone, there are lots of things going on, and one of the key concern has been the explosion in the batteries. And why these batteries are exploding, as I said, there are different component, electrodes, electrolyte. If you use liquid electrolyte, they are also susceptible. Then increase the internal pressure of the battery, thermal runaway, catching the fire, and so on. So batteries are highly susceptible to explosion depending upon the component they have within them. So we have been looking into alternative for traditional electrolyte in these batteries, primarily focusing on ionic liquid, where we were trying to make them more of low cost and super performance material. together with Jason Hallett from Imperial College, we developed some ionic liquid. But what we realized is their cost is still very high compared to the traditional electrolyte material, and companies, they rarely want to go with such high cost materials. So we have been looking into an alternative of ionic liquid, where we did develop some natural deep eutectic solvent. We made use of natural bio-based resources, food waste, for example, pomace waste that has been significantly showing presence in a lot of food markets. We were able to extract some bioactive molecules and then transform them into new natural deep eutectic solvent. They have initially shown greater performance, and we want to further explore them for real-time battery application. And also, we have been looking into how we can recycle different types of these batteries and other related materials, because as we know that these lithium ion and other metals, they are really very critical metals, and only few countries across the world are dominating their production. So traditionally, a lot of chemical techniques, they are used for extraction of these valuable metals from these materials, but we were able to engineer new bacteria, and then they can efficiently extract some of these metals. At least sometime we were able to get efficiency of more than 90%. Similarly, we have been developing new type of sustainable material, starting from cellulose to starch, more at a nanoscale level. And we have been mainly interested in cellulose nanocrystal. Being chemist, what attracts most to us has been more of sustainable surface chemistry, because they are sustainable materials. We can easily engineer them, and then obviously they have biodegradability and biocompatibility that can be exploited for biomedical applications. And we have been also looking into some of the current problem. For example, air pollution. It is a critical component across most of the developing countries, as well as now growing in the developed countries. So we have been able to develop more of new bio-based filters, starting from the cellulose nanocrystal, or you can say cellulose nanomaterials. And in fact, this smog in China and India has also given birth to a new industry of bottled air. So you might be occasionally coming across the news that some bottled air fitted with new biofilters are being used for breathing and so on. So we have been looking into it. So we did made use of cellulose-based nanocrystal, then combined it with 3D printing and electrospinning, and then came up with the new nano-based filter for these air pollution-related applications. And this article also made to the cover page of ACS Engineering Gold Journal. Then similarly, compared to traditional bio-based synthetic polymer resin, we have been developing new bio-based polymer resin. For example, the traditional composite industry that make use of a lot of polyester resin, even the paints, etc. They make use of significant synthetic resins, and this industry is expected to grow significantly. However, as there are significant health and environmental concerns, so we were able to develop new alternative of these synthetic resin, and we developed a new polymer system known as MAESO, myelinated acrylated epoxidized soybean oil. I won't go into more detail, but this is something we have developed in our lab. And here you can see, although it is as good as its synthetic counterparts, but it is highly viscous, so it cannot be used as a loan for engineering application. So we need to add a reactive diluent. Traditionally, styrene is used as a reactive diluent for this type of structural composite application. It has its own advantages and disadvantages. For example, in California, in US, it has been put in the list of carcinogenic chemical, mean you need to put a statutory warning on anything you use styrene, and most of the ball pen we use, they also contain some component of styrene. So again, it is also an essential part of automotive industry. Although the composite industry, it consumes nearly 10% of the styrene. However, it accounts for more than 80% of styrene emission. And knowingly or unknowingly in everyday life, we inhale some sort of these hazardous air pollutant. So we thought to come up with new alternative. We made use of lignin, again a significant waste of paper industry. Then we also made use of vanillin and came up with the new bio-based monomer known as vanillin, vanillin alcohol, and vanillinic acid. And here you can see this is the monomer we have developed. And those who have been working with the styrene, they might be aware of its nasty smell. But here with new monomer MVA, you will see it has a vanilla fragrance, and I am sure some of your students will never get away from the lab if they start working with this very nice chemical. Only issue at the moment is its high cost. We did also study some of the characteristics. For example, styrene, it just evaporates within 1 hour at room temperature, 30 degrees C. We carried out the experiment. And MVA, it just showed only 5-8% loss. So mean it is a really sustainable monomer as a potential alternative of styrene. Similarly, we tested it for its another characteristics as well as mechanical properties. They showed as good mechanical properties as compared to the traditional synthetic counterparts. Similarly, we were able to make use of clove. Everyone might be aware of this essential component of Southeast Asian food habits. We were able to extract usinol from this one, and then again we converted into methacrylated usinol, and it has shown similar properties with MBA with the extra property of antimicrobial. So these polymer coating, they also show enhanced antimicrobial characteristics. Similarly, we don't want to waste anything from soybean oil. I said we developed polymer from soybean oil, but if you see soybean husk, it is also a significant waste across US. And US, this soybean oil cannot be used for food-related application because of some of the concern with this oil. So it is mainly used for these automotive and other application, but this soya protein is considered as a waste. So we were able to again develop new sustainable adhesive from this one. And one of the farmer student in US, he has started a company and they are making use of this soybean-based adhesive as a replacement of traditional phenol and urea formaldehyde adhesive for these automotive applications. Similarly, we have been developing new alternative of the synthetic adhesive. Tannin is one such material abundantly found in all the plants we see around us, depending upon whether they come under the category of plant or hardwood or seawood. The amount of tannin vary, but this is also a very good adhesive and exploring it further for another application. Another important area, we are also developing new type of bio-based polymer, say polybutyl succinate from succinic acid, again using waste that is mainly used for a food for cattle in UP or another state of the India, but we have been able to develop new type of monomer from this system, and also we developed new type of bio-based polymers. Here we can see the PLA, one of the most emerging polymer for packaging application. Now efforts are going to make screen and so on from this material. And again, as I said, cellulose-based material or sustainable materials, they are being explored for a number of applications. Together with the University of Bristol, we are looking into how we can change some of the interior component of the planes as well as cars through this embodiment of cellulose-based nanocrystals. So we have been trying to replace traditional glass fiber with the cellulose nanocrystal, and they are having low density, so showing significant fuel reduction as well. Another area, we have been making use of the cellulose nanocrystal for wind turbine blade applications. In UK, significant amount of energy is produced through wind turbine blades. However, they are significantly composed of glass fiber and some of the another high cost fiber, and their biodegradability is a great concern, and we envision that in next 30 to 40 years, we will have a significant problem of recycling of these wind turbine blades in UK. So we have been looking into how we can incorporate the cellulose nanocrystal into these. Obviously, we cannot 100% replace because they are susceptible to a lot of air and wind erosion. So we are trying to make it more of a sandwich-based model where we are putting cellulose nanocrystal fiber layer And then outside, we are using these glass-based fiber, and they are showing good performance. Obviously, not as good as glass fiber, but we hope that we will one day achieve the performance of traditional glass fiber-based composite for wind turbine application. Then we have been also trying to develop completely biodegradable nanocomposite. And through one of our work, we find that generally it is thought that when we go at the nanoscale level, we get higher mechanical properties. But through our work, we find that you always don't need to go at the nanoscale. Here you can see at 40% nanofabricated cellulose loading, we get a strength of around 560 megapascal. But at 40% microcrystalline cellulose, the mechanical strength was significantly high. So we concluded that we should not always go to the nano dimension, because although it may seem fascinating, but then if you see it from life cycle analysis, you may not get the complete carbon negative characteristic that you have been adding. So we should always consider different possibility, because when we go to nanoscale, we make use of significant resources that ultimately materials don't turn out to be green, but it is more of a positive carbon emission based material. Similarly, we have been developing new type of technology where we used both mechanical as well as solvent casting technique to develop sustainable nanocomposite. Here you can see the materials we developed. They were almost completely biodegradable after 3 months. Here are some of the mechanical properties as well, and here is some of the images we have taken. Similarly, we have been looking into making use of different types of waste material that are locally available. One such is hemp, and in UK and US, for farmers to grow hemp, because it has a huge medicinal values, farmers need to take license, and they made use of hemp oils as well as another materials. But one of the problem they come across is the fibers that are from this plant, they are not used anywhere, and they were facing the problem of the discard. So we were able to develop new type of nanocellulose based from hemp, and we are now currently working with the industry based in London, who is trying to replace the traditional polystyrene and polyurethane based foam with our recently developed hemp based foam. And similarly, we have been developing new nanocoatings for leather-related application. And again, we built upon eugenol that we have previously synthesized, and it has shown similarly nice result. We have also summarized our findings on how we can make use of green chemistry techniques to explore, or you can say further engineer different types of material, whether it is cellulose, starch, chitin, chitosan, and develop different types of sustainable materials. You can also go through this article that we published, I think, in 2020. And similarly, we have been making use of advanced engineering technique, especially 4D printing, making use of indigenous polymer that have developed in our lab, and then using these for both biomedical application. And here are some of the images we used for this development of this AESO resin, then obviously added by some of the UV sensitive materials so that we can 3D print them. And similarly, we have been making use of FTM technology. Traditional problem with traditional 3D printing technology is some of the materials peel because it does not have a strong adhesion with the system. So we were again able to engineer that polymer PVP, as we said, and then reinforcement with some of the sisal fiber. It showed significantly higher mechanical properties, and we are currently working on a new system where we can develop more of high value manufacturing material, making use of new chemistry, and we are now playing with the urea based chemistry to develop this composite more at a higher scale, because FDM based technique, although it is quite good, but again it is quite time consuming. And this work was sponsored by Cambridge Nanosystem, a company based in Cambridge, and then UKRI for Eco India project. Similarly, we have been looking into new technique, especially needle-free electrospinning, to develop new scaffold for biomedical application. In this, we made use of polybutyl succinate that we have developed in our lab, graphene nanoplatelet, again synthesized through a plasma-based method in Cambridge. This company supplied us, and we were able to develop new fabricated cellulose, use them for biomedical application. Similarly, we made use of curcumin powder, again essential component of food habits in most of the part of the world. We extracted cellulose, and we are exploring its use now for wound healing application. And similarly, in another work, we have been using PVDF-based nanomaterials, or you can say nanolaminate, for structural health monitoring to see what's going on in a system so that we can know whether there is any damage in the aerospace component of the part or not. If there is something, we will get a signal through the sensor of these electrospun nanofiber within the system, and we should be able to repair them intelligently. And this work was funded by Monroe Technology, again a defense-related company in UK. And in summary, for long-term sustainable development, we must make use of the materials that have not been used effectively, and we must combine different technologies as well as different materials to unlock their potential for advanced engineering applications. And at the last, there are many people who have contributed to the journey so far, and it won't be fair to name few and leave them. So thanks to everyone who have helped us in the journey so far, and obviously different funding agencies who have been very generously supporting our work. And then thank you very much. I will be happy to answer any of the questions you might have.
A heartfelt thank you to Professor Vijay Kumar Thakur for gracing us with his profound insights and expertise on nanomaterials, sustainable materials and batteries, bio-based materials, and polymer-based materials. Sir, your presentation has added immense value to our conference today. If any of our attendees have any question, they may please ask.
Namaskar, sir. Am I audible?
Yes.
सर अभिषेक दिमान दिस साइड सबसे पहले सर थैंक यू आपका, आपने टाइम निकाला हमारे बच्चों के साथ इंटरेक्ट करने के लिए। यहाँ पे पार्टिसिपेंट्स के अलावा आपका जो सेशन था हमारे बीटेक के अंडर के सभी बच्चों को ब्रॉडकास्ट हुआ है, सभी बच्चे आपके सेशन को सुन रहे थे। इट वाज वेरी बेनिफिशियल because polymer is a very important topic which has been included in every part of engineering. Without polymers, I think engineering cannot be imagined. अब on a non-formal note, I wish कि यहाँ पे सर हमारे पास 4 years के बच्चे हैं, बीटेक सिविल इंजीनियरिंग के, बीटेक इलेक्ट्रिकल इंजीनियरिंग के, सीएससी के। तो काइंडली a word of motivation and scope जो इनके लिए हो सकता है, अगर आप बोल देंगे तो इनको अच्छा लगेगा बच्चों को।
Thank you. So, Abhishek, it's always a pleasure to talk. So, just to mention that it is not really related to polymer, that polymer are related to chemistry. Just to quickly brief you that you can go from anywhere, and I would like to mention that Dr. Sanjeev Verma, who's an elder brother figure to me, I think sitting, and he once said to me, when I was doing my master in HP University chemistry, I was very reluctant to do MSc in organic chemistry. And he forced me to say that you are not eating the laddu, agar laddu nahi khayega, then that baad mein pachtaega. So then I did adopt it. Okay, I somehow managed to pass that course. But I realize now that I still say that I never know any chemistry, but that chemistry I learned way back is helping me in all the discipline. And just to mention that after my PhD in chemistry, I never worked in a chemistry department. It has always been aerospace, manufacturing. In Cranfield, I was in aerospace department. And then here I am in agriculture and business management department, where we are transforming the technology to new industry. So the students who are working, so don't be scared that the material polymer, they are being used in chemistry. So outside India, even within India these days through new education policy, you can build upon any of the knowledge you have gained, and you can go to different discipline. You can go to aerospace engineering, or sometime even can you go to any of the engineering department or even sciences. So it's not a critical condition that you must you are doing BTech in any of the discipline and you cannot go in another discipline. So there are different options. So it's just need the topic, or some, even it's not about topic, it's always more about your interest, and then you can always acquire a knowledge that you can build upon that. And I think Dr. Sanjeev Verma bhai, he's in a greater position to explore more light on this one rather than me.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Distinguished guests, we kindly invite you to join us for lunch. We will meet again at 2:30 p.m. and continue with our invited talk. Thank you.
Thank you, Vijay sir. Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome you all back. I would like to welcome Professor S.P. Guleria, Worthy Director cum Principal, Jawaharlal Nehru Government Engineering College, Sundarnagar. Sir, we are honored to have you with us today. Now, I would like to request Worthy Director, Sir, Professor Himanshu Moga, to felicitate Professor S.P. Guleria. Distinguished guests, please join me in welcoming our next esteemed speaker, Dr. Ravikant Bhatia. Dr. Ravikant Bhatia is Assistant Professor in Department of Biotechnology, Himachal Pradesh University. He is also Coordinator of Biotechnology Incubation Center, HPU. He completed his MSc from the Central University of Uttarakhand and MPhil, PhD, and postdoctoral fellowship from the Himachal Pradesh University. He qualified UGC NET in 2006, GATE examination in 2008, GRF in 2009, SRF in 2010, and postdoctoral fellowship in 2015, and even Indian Council of Agricultural Research NET exam in 2016. His area of specialization include environmental biotechnology, biotransformation, biofuel technology, and waste valorization. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a warm welcome to Dr. Ravikant Bhatia.
Thank you, Dr. Rika. It's indeed great pleasure to be here in this conference, rather, I think, first international conference, to talk on one of the most important and topic, that's the Himalayan pine forest fire. Okay, so in this talk, I will just talk about the main problem, its implications, and being a scientific community of engineers, scientists, what we can contribute. And ultimately, what we are doing in HP University, especially our lab working a little bit on the pioneers so that we can provide some sustainable solutions to this major problem of the Himalayan region. So I think all of are very familiar with this issue. That's the Himalayan forest fire, especially in the pine forest. Okay, so every year thousands of incidents that not only results into the loss to the biodiversity, air pollution,
फोल्डर GHEC प्रेजेंटेशन में देखो उधर उधर फोल्डर
Okay, so this problem not only a chance to every scientist or student to develop some innovative ideas, but it also provides some startup opportunities to all of you. Okay, so nowadays all the streams, they are correlated with each other or interrelated. ऐसा नहीं है कि अगर कोई सीएस कर रहा है तो सिविल में कुछ नहीं कर सकता, या सिविल वाला बायोटेक्नोलॉजी में कुछ नहीं कर सकता, या इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स में कुछ नहीं कर सकता। तो जितने भी फील्ड्स आज के टाइम साइंस में हैं, ह्यूमैनिटीज में हैं, they are going to be interlinked with each other. Okay. So let's have a look little bit about the pine forest. So अगर हम देखें तो थ्रू आउट द वर्ल्ड जो है पाइन फॉरेस्ट जो है पाए जाते हैं, बट here the major concern is the Himalayan region. Why? Because the climate change or global warming is mostly going to be affect the Himalayan region first. That's why we have to be focused on the Himalayan region. So if you have a look to this presentation or this slide, then you can see the Himalayan region consists of right from your Jammu and Kashmir, then Himachal, Uttarakhand, and to the northeast. And all those areas have the pine forests. And every year, these pine forests are under the catastrophic forest fire. So if basically we look for towards the pine forest, then here are the major products that we generally get from the forest, especially the pine forest. So that include your timber for your furniture as well as for the construction industry, and its resin or that can be used for the turbine oils. Similarly, pine seeds also used for the food purpose, and that will result in your pine nuts. Okay, chilgoza आप लोगों ने सुना होगा. That's one of type of pine forest product. But these are the major products which are generally obtained from the pine forest. But the pine needles is one of the most problematic part of these forests. So usually you can just see here the figures. About 2 to 3 tons of pine needles per hectare per year released by the pine forest. So you can see here that how much huge amount of biomass is available, and it's an opportunity to all of you. If not utilized, then it generally results into your forest fires. So that ultimately results into about your 5 crore loss to flora and fauna. Okay, so just imagine, just 1 hectare, if it got under forest fire, then it caused about the loss to the 5 crore. It will not only destroy your biodiversity, but also your flora and fauna. Okay, so this topic may not be directly linked to your civil, but being a human being, you must concern about these all issues. Okay, flora and fauna means your plants and animals. So as the Himalayan region, it's a very high or rich in biodiversity. तो बहुत सारे ऐसे आपके एनिमल्स हैं, प्लांट्स की स्पीसीज हैं, एनिमल्स की स्पीसीज हैं, जो थ्रू आउट वर्ल्ड में सिर्फ हिमालय रीजन में पाई जाती हैं. ओके, बट अगर आपकी फॉरेस्ट फायर्स होती हैं ठीक है, then ultimately it will goes to affect the your flora and fauna. Okay, और एक बार वो species अगर vanish होगी, then it's almost impossible to get back those species. तो कोई भी चीज अगर अर्थ के ऊपर है, whether it's a plant or animal, ठीक है, they have their significance. चाहे उसका यूज आपके लिए हो या ना हो, but for the environment or for the nature, they have a particular role. Okay. So usually if we talk about the Himalayan region or especially our Himachal, so these are the major districts which are under forest fires. Every year, number of forest fire incident occurs in these districts. Okay, and the major reason is these pine needles. And these pine needles is the opportunity for all of us. So, according to Forest Survey of India, there are about 5,000 cases reported of the forest fires every year. Okay, so this is the data of 2023. So you can see here in this picture also. So every year we heard about the news of forest fires. Even I think this season also have your pine forest, and it's very common, especially in the summer. Okay, to see these forest fires. So these are some news clips we circulate every year. Every year we got a lot of news about the forest fires. Okay, and that ultimately results into the loss of your biodiversity as well as the various losses to the human beings. So, what is the major reason behind these forest fires? So, one of the most prominent reason is the igneous nature of these pine needles. Okay, as these pine needles, they contain the resin. This is highly flammable. And rest of things, environment add, and humans add. Okay, that includes environmental factors like your lack of precipitation. Usually from the month of March or April, these pine needles start to shed off their leaves. Okay, and in that duration of time, there is no rain. So that's just an adding factor. And ultimately, various, you can say, human greed for the fodder for the animals, we just ignite those leaves or forests. And ultimately, we have a catastrophic forest fires. And you can see here the different images that I just took from the internet. Okay, so these are the major issues. Then, now the problems. How these forest fires affect the human being or affect our nature. So if you look about the problems, there are n number of things or problems you can say occurs due to these forest fires. That may be your climate pollutants, addition of pollutants to the climate, or you can say nature. Then smoke or haze, it's very common in that particular time. Then generation of your aerosol and particulate matter. Then that ultimately leads to various health concerns or health issues. So these forest fires not only destroy your biodiversity, flora and fauna, but also affect the human being. Not only the human being, but also the soil, fertility, soil microbial flora. Okay, as you know that microbes, they play a very important role to increase the fertility of the soil, whether it's a bacteria or fungi. So if there are these forest fires, ultimately results into the destruction of the nature. So let's have a look to this picture. loss to the microbial diversity. So the heat from the burning forest, or you can say pine needles that can penetrate up to 1 centimeter down to the soil, and that will lead to the increase in the temperature about from 33 degrees Celsius to 45 degrees Celsius. So just imagine, usually most of the bacteria, they are the mesophilic. Mesophilic means they need a temperature near around 30 to 35 degrees Celsius. अगर वो टेम्परेचर जो है सॉइल का इंक्रीज हो जाता है, then ultimately those bacteria or fungal species will get vanished off. Okay, and ultimately what will happen? There is a chance to become the land barren. जब सॉइल की फर्टिलिटी खत्म हो जाएगी, then ultimately it results into the barren land. Okay, so this is another data that shows there is a loss to the nutrients to the soil also. So it's an estimate that, or an, as per a report, it has been found out that it is a forest fire in a 1 hectare land, or you can say a forest, then it will result into about 5.5 kilogram nitrogen loss, 2.3 kilogram phosphorus loss, 25 kilogram potassium, then 1 kg sulfur, organic carbon, and soil moisture. So these nutrients are very, very essential for the plant species as well as your microbes or fungus species. Usually it's an ecosystem where all the microorganisms, your bacteria, fungi, small plants, herbs, shrubs, they interact with each other. Okay, only then we have a sustainable, you can say, community of plants or particular system is there. Beside that, you can see these figures, air pollution. So whenever there is a forest fire, that will result into your about 149.24 million tons of carbon dioxide emission and 9 million tons carbon monoxide, then about 0.25 million sulfur oxides. You can just see here how the forest fires damaging the environment, how much pollutants these forest fires adding into the atmosphere. So that ultimately affects the whole climate. Whatever you are observing nowadays, that's the global warming, you can say, or global climate change. So आज के टाइम में ऐसा नहीं है, अगर यहाँ कुछ हो रहा है, it will not affect the other countries. या other countries में कुछ हो रहा है, तो यहाँ उसका कुछ इफेक्ट नहीं होगा. ठीक है? Nowadays, you can say whole world is interconnected. अगर आपके गल्फ में वॉर्स चल रहे हैं, तो वहां पे जो आपके एमिशंस हो रहा है या क्लाइमेट में चेंज हो रहा है, that can affect the Indian regions also. और इंडियन रीजन्स में भी हिमालयन रीजन्स, क्योंकि आपका हाई एल्टीट्यूड पे. ओके, सो अभी आप देख रहे होंगे, आजकल ऑब्जर्व भी कर रहे होंगे, देयर इज ए ड्राई स्पेल इज गोइंग ऑन. यूजुअली आपका लोहड़ी के आसपास जो है बारिश हो जाती थी, लेकिन अभी नहीं हो रही है. ठीक है? सो दीज इश्यूज आर रिलेटेड टू द ग्लोबल क्लाइमेट चेंज. So ये air pollution जो है, it will not only affects the rest of things but the human life also. So there are n number of things and it's well documented and reported कि जब भी आपकी इस तरह से forest fire के incidents increase होते हैं, then it will aggregate the various problems into the human system. That may lead to your asthma attacks, coughing, heart and lung patients, increase in the number of heart and lung patients, eye irritation and stroke, some other impacts like your premature death, then disease excavations, cognitive impairment, memory loss. These are the some impacts that indirectly affects the human life. So, in order to tackle these issues, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, they developed some methods or strategies to overcome this issue, especially. That may be informing, enabling and empowering the forest communities. Usually जो forest के surrounding में peoples रहते हैं, उनको educate करना और उनको forest fire को prevent करने के लिए special trainings देना, that's very important. So these are some efforts which are taken by at the government level. Then incentivizing the forest communities, training the field staff, especially the firefighters, then equipping them with the better equipments, developing adequate infrastructure, and arranging the adequate manpower. So these are some measures that can be taken at the government level. Construction of permanent fire breaks and barriers. Then deploying fire watchers and fire retardant chemicals can be used, and local communities must be obey the laws. Okay, only then these such problems can be prevented. But being a scientific community, whether you are belonging to your engineering or whether it's a CS, electrical, electronics, mechanical, civil, or any other field of science. So, being in this community, it's our responsibility to develop some innovative solutions. So, we already have a problem. Okay, so this problem can be a opportunity for all of us. So now we will see in the next few slides that what are the different possibilities or outcomes which we can follow or we can uptake as a startup, so that we can overcome this problem in a sustainable manner, and ultimately that may also result into some new startup idea. So this is just a glimpse of various, you can say, valuable products that can be generated from the pine needles. So again, all the different types of branches of science, they can collaborate with each other to find a solution to this problem. क्योंकि ये प्रॉब्लम अगर आप पिछले 25-30 साल का डाटा अगर ले या इंसिडेंट्स को नोट करें, then you will find कि continuously जो है these numbers of incidents are increasing. और ऐसा भी नहीं है कि साइंटिस्ट या साइंटिफिक कम्युनिटी जो है इसके ऊपर वर्क नहीं कर रही है. They all are striving hard to find a solution. And one of the major problem is the logistic. क्योंकि ये चीजें लैब स्केल पे पॉसिबल है, लेकिन कमर्शियल स्केल पे it's a little bit not so easy. So, being a student from the engineering, you can develop the solution to this logistic problem. So, beside that, a lot of things can be derived by these may be your biochemicals. As our earlier speakers, Professor Vijay, he also suggested that we have to develop some sustainable products. Okay, आजकल जितने भी आपके सराउंडिंग में प्रोडक्ट्स हैं, they are non-sustainable. But nowadays, धीरे-धीरे जो है, due to awareness towards the nature, scientific community developing some innovative sustainable products, और public भी जो है वो धीरे-धीरे aware हो रही है कि कुछ nature friendly products ही आपने use करने हैं. So pine needles can provide a better opportunity to overcome this problem as well as to provide a sustainable product economy, you can say. Okay, so this is just a glimpse how we can transform the pine needles into n number of things. So let's have a look to the more products. So if you basically look towards the pine needles, then you will find out that these pine needles are basically consist of this mainly three things, and rest of your as content and extractives are there. So cellulose is the one of the major component of pine needles. Then we have heavy cellulose, and third one is the lignin. So these three are the major components, where the rest of your as content and extractives are there. So each and every component of these pine needles, they have a huge commercial value. Okay. So first application is the paper production. So it's a very you can say old technology, but the idea is that you can use pine needles rather than other substrates. Abhi kya hai? I don't know how many of students they know about the production of paper. जो अपने copies अपने हाथ में नहीं है या papers आप use करते हैं, what's the process to make that paper? How many of your students know? Only few hands raised. So usually your popular tree जो है, ठीक है, उसकी shut off किया जाता है, then it get pulp, उसका pulp बनाया जाता है, then उसकी then chemical treatment होती है, ठीक है, जिसको आप chlorination के through जो है उसको white किया जाता है, and ultimately you have the paper. So that's the one you can say example जिसमें popular को use करके आपका paper बनाया जाता है. But nowadays scientific community or industry are shifting towards your पराली जो एक पंजाब में मेजर प्रॉब्लम है, then आपका एलिफेंट ग्रास इज अनदर ऑप्शन. सो धीरे-धीरे जो है इंडस्ट्री दे आर शिफ्टिंग टुवर्ड्स द अदर टाइप ऑफ बायोमास. बट बीइंग इन हिमाचल एंड these pine needles is an opportunity for all of us. So this can be transformed into the paper also. Technology हमारे पास है, we just have to be take the alternative biomass or you can say bioresource, so that आपके इससे दो मेजर प्रॉब्लम में सॉल्व हो जाएंगे. एक तो आपका फॉरेस्ट फायर बच जाएगी और अल्टीमेटली यू विल गेट द पेपर value added product. Okay, so paper may be a value added product from the pine needles. Then production of particle boards. This is another option. Okay, where these pine needles shredded into very fine particles. Then after compressing those particles, we can find out the particle boards. So if you look into the market size of these particle boards, it's about $9.68 billion in 2022, and it's growing exponentially, you can say. And by 2030 or 2029, it will reach up to your $40.75 billion with a compound annual growth rate of 6.2%. You can see here how much opportunity is there. Particle boards. तो आप पाइन नीडल्स को पार्टिकल बोर्ड्स में भी ट्रांसफॉर्म कर सकते हैं. So one of our startup is already doing this. Then another option is the biodegradable cutlery. अभी तक क्या है, आप लोगों के घरों में जितने भी यूटेंसिल्स हैं किचन में, ठीक है, तो थाली, ग्लास, चम्मच, प्लेट्स वगैरह होते हैं, दे आर मेड ऑफ स्टील. बट दिस इज अनदर ऑप्शन. नाउअडेज देयर आर एन नंबर ऑफ स्टार्टअप्स आर कमिंग आउट. वो क्या है, जो भी उनके पर्टिकुलर एरिया में वेस्ट बायोमास है, वो उसको यूज करके दे आर मेकिंग द प्रोडक्ट्स. बट बीइंग इन हिमाचल वी हैव पाइन नीडल्स। ठीक है, जो आपका वेस्ट बायोमास है, इसका सबसे प्लस पॉइंट ये है, यू हैव टू बी नथिंग टू पे फॉर द वेस्ट बायोमास। अदरवाइज क्या है, जब भी आप कोई इंडस्ट्रीज प्लान करते हैं, देन यू हैव टू बी पे फॉर द रॉ मटेरियल। सो अगर आप रॉ मटेरियल के भी पे कर रहे हैं, देन अल्टीमेटली इट विल ऐड इनटू योर कॉस्ट, प्रोडक्ट कॉस्ट। बट यहाँ पे क्या है, आपको जो आपका रॉ मटेरियल है दैट्स फ्रीली अवेलेबल। ठीक है, सो इट मींस देयर इज अ ह्यूज मार्जिन इन योर प्रॉफिट। Okay, so see here, this is the $35.5 billion business, or you can say market size in 2022, 20, and in 25 it's going to be around 47, और ये फ्यूचर में इंक्रीज ही होगा, क्योंकि धीरे धीरे जो है एवरीबडी इज गोइंग टू बी सस्टेनेबल और इको फ्रेंडली। And these products, some of the products, they are available in the market. Okay, but these are made up of another biomasses. Pine needles yet need to be explored for these products. Then another important area is the packaging material. So we can use these pine needles as a packaging material. जितने भी आपके घर में प्रोडक्ट्स आते हैं, चाहे आप लोकल मार्केट से लो, चाहे आप अमेज़न से लो, फ्लिपकार्ट से लो, एवरीथिंग कम इन ए पैकेट। ठीक है, तो जितनी भी आपकी पैकेजिंग होती है, आइदर इट्स मेड अप ऑफ योर पॉलीथीन और स्टाइलिंग फोम जो होती है, बट those all things can be made up from the pine needles. We can make the packaging material from the pine needles also, and see here the market size. It's almost going to be double in next 5 to 6 years. That's about $812 billion by 2030. So in sustainable solutions को बताने के साथ साथ मैं आप लोगों को एक बिजनेस अपॉर्चुनिटी भी बता रहा हूँ। ठीक है, कि आप लोग जो हैं कुछ स्टार्टअप आइडिया इस चीज को लेके स्टार्ट कर सकते हैं। I don't know how many of you want to become the entrepreneurs. कितने लोग हैं जो जॉब करना चाहते हैं? सब एक दूसरे की तरफ देख रहे हैं। और कितने लोग हैं जो जॉब देना चाहते हैं? So that's good. So it's a huge opportunities here in the pine needle sector, you can say. So इसमें क्या है, आप एक प्रॉब्लम को भी सॉल्व कर रहे हैं और एक सस्टेनेबल और इको फ्रेंडली प्रोडक्ट भी आप बना रहे हैं। So you can do this. तो इसके लिए आपको कोई रॉकेट साइंस करने की जरूरत नहीं है। You must have the passion. ठीक है, एंटरप्रेन्योर बनना इट्स नॉट अ स्टोरी। आपको एक मोटिवेशन चाहिए और आपके अंदर जो है पैशन होना चाहिए, then you can do the one. Then see here, this is the, you can say, old concept जिसमें हैंडीक्राफ्ट जो है वो पाइन नीडल से बनाया जाता है। बट जो मैं आप लोगों को बता रहा हूँ, there are the some innovative products that can be done with the pine needles. So this is again a huge market is there. This is something related to the civil engineers. Biocomposites. Okay, अगर आप अपना बचपन याद करें या लिटिल बिट बैक जाएं, सो हम लोग जब कच्चे घर होते थे तो उसमें जो है आपका बायोकम्पोजिट से बने होते थे, बट उस टाइम उसको बायोकम्पोजिट नहीं बोलते थे। ठीक है, मड होता था, उसके अंदर जो है पाइन नीडल्स मिक्स करके आप अपने जो कच्चे घर होते थे उनकी रिपेयरिंग करते थे। बट नाउअडेज इट्स अ इको फ्रेंडली प्रोडक्ट, यू कैन से बायोकम्पोजिट्स। इट्स अ वेरी बजिंग वर्ड। ठीक है, क्योंकि हम लोगों को सस्टेनेबल होना है, इको फ्रेंडली होना है, तो उसके लिए इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट दैट वी मस्ट हैव सम प्रोडक्ट्स फ्रॉम द नेचर फॉर द नेचर टू द नेचर. Okay, so you can see here the size market. जो आपका 2021 में 25.4 बिलियन US डॉलर का था बायोकम्पोजिट्स की मार्केट, बट by 2030 it's going to be about 123 US billion dollars. You can see here the gap in the market. कितना जो है रिक्वायरमेंट है मार्केट में बायोकम्पोजिट्स. Another interesting thing is the pine needles to the textile fiber. So again there is a huge demand. अभी तक क्या है, फाइबर कैसे बनता है, आपका कॉटन बेसिकली यूज होता है, बट there are some research groups which are working on the hemp textile, but pine needles can also be transformed into the textile fiber. Another innovative thing is the nanocellulose. Okay, the pine needles में one of the major product component is the cellulose, and that cellulose can be transformed into your nanocellulose. And जैसे सर ने भी बताया कि प्रोफेसर विजय ने बताया, जैसे हम नैनो स्केल्स पे जाते हैं, देन वी हैव अ डिफरेंट प्रॉपर्टीज ऑफ द मटेरियल. सो हम लोग फाइन नीडल्स को नैनो सेलुलोज में भी ट्रांसफॉर्म कर सकते हैं, एंड दैट नैनो सेलुलोज हैव अ n number of applications. Other in your food packaging industry, wastewater treatment, food stuff, biomedicine, wood adhesives, textile, carbon dioxide capture, electric and optical industry, and cosmetics. N number of things can be done. Okay, and this is the market size. You can see here. Such a huge market is available. We're waiting for the sustainable products, some other valuable products. Okay, so what else we can do? Pine needle resin oils. So usually आपके pine trees की bark को remove करके आपका resins निकाला जाता है, and that resin converted into your turbine oils. But this resin oil can also be extracted from the pine needles. Okay, and which have a n number of applications. That can be used as a disinfection agent, as a solvent, can be used in a textile industry, leather industry, and in perfumery industry also. Then pine needles to succinic acid. That's another example how we can transform the pine needles cellulose, cellulose into the succinic acid. So again, biotechnology or microbes play a significant role in transforming these chemicals which are present in the pine needles into the succinic acid. And that succinic acid again have a huge market that includes your food, pharma, coolants, fuel additives, and a number of things can be done. So another important chemicals are the lactic acid or your polylactic acid, जिसको आप bioplastic बोलते हैं. They can also be developed by using the biotechnological interventions from the pine needles and its components. And you can see here the market of this lactic acid and polylactic acid. Pine needles to the xylitol. It's an artificial sweetener. ठीक है, जो आपके diabetic persons होते हैं, they can't take up the sugar. So this is another alternative for those diabetic persons or patients, you can say xylitol. Then Yeah, n number of things can be derived from the pine needles. So that will be your lignosulfonate, polyphenols, carbon fibers, adhesive, foams, furans, bioethanol, like that. So these things can be derived from the pine needles. Then n number of enzymes can also be derived from the pine needles by using cellulose or hemicellulose or lignin as a carbon source for the bacteria or fungi. And enzymes again has a huge market size. So another important part, that's the lignin, which is most of time not used by your various industries. So you can say it's a waste product from the paper industry. That's the lignin. If we are able to extract the lignin, we can use the cellulose or hemicellulose for the production of your paper or any other material where the lignin can be used for a number of applications. So you can see here each and every part of the pine needles have its importance or commercial value. So pine needles can also be used as a nutritious animal feed. So it can also be mixed as the pine needles, they have some antibacterial or antimicrobial property. So it can also be mixed with the animal feed to add the antimicrobial property to that animal feed, which can be used for the chickens, rabbits, sheep, and cow, and many other animals. So mushroom production can also be done by using your pine needle biomass. So usually, just see here, the price of the mushroom is almost 300 to 500 kg. But if the mushroom based protein powder, that costs about 3000 to 5000 per kg. और उसी मशरूम को अगर आप एज अ सिरम की तरह यूज करते हैं, ट्रांसफॉर्म करते हैं, then see here the value, that's about 10,000 to 20,000 rupees per liter. Okay. So pine needles to biochar, which again have a tremendous number of applications. Pine needles can also be transformed to biofertilizers. Then various energy products can also be produced from the pine needles. That will be your biocoal. These are about, it's just an alternative to the fossilized carbon. That's your coal. So it's an alternative and have better calorific value than the fossilized coal. Pine needles can also be transformed to your gaseous fuels. That will be your syngas or producer gas or water gas. It can be used in various commercial applications. Pine needles can also be transformed into your CNG or biogas. So there we can see here that there are n number of applications. So biogas can also be produced, but again we have to use some biotechnological interventions. Okay, so biogas ka concept is again older one, but with the help of biotechnology, we can transform the pine needles into the biogas. Okay, so that includes your various steps and also require the n number of microorganisms which can transform the bio waste, that's a biomass or pine needles, into the biogas, and that biogas can be used as a biofuel. So now what we are doing in our laboratory. So we are being a biotechnologist or biotechnology laboratory, we are producing the bioethanol. Okay. Nowadays, as per the government norms, we have to be at 20% ethanol into the petrol. Okay, blending is mandatory. Already 20% mandate is there, but India is not able to produce sufficient amount of ethanol that can meet the demand. Okay, so we have to use these various technological interventions so that we can transform the various biomass into the bioethanol. So, in order to transform the pine needles into bioethanol, we have done a little bit of research where we just took the various different types of enzymes which can fractionize the pine needles into its basic components, that's your cellulose, hemicellulose, and lignin, and then we have just optimized the various process. Okay, so we use these enzymes to separate out the different components, and ultimately we will get the sugar. And that sugar, this is again just a optimization process where we just enhance the capability of these enzymes to develop or to produce the fermentable sugar. And that fermentable sugar ultimately utilized for the fermentation process by using these two, you can say yeast. One is your Saccharomyces cerevisiae and another one is your Phyllomices. And these two yeasts, they just ferment the glucose and finally produce the bioethanol. So again, we just have to optimize the process so that we can get the sufficient amount of ethanol. So this is the whole setup. This is the small scale fermenter where we just transform the pine into hydrolysate into the bioethanol. And this is the various analysis that we have done. And ultimately we get the bioethanol. And there's another thing that we just have performed in our lab, that's to transform the pine needles into the bioplanters. सबके घर में different pots होंगे, ठीक है, planters जिसमें आप plants लगाते हैं, but we just try to transform the plant needles into the bioplanters which are biodegradable in nature. And this is another one startup who started his company and producing these planters. And this is just a glimpse of all different products which can be derived from the pine needles. But there is a n number of opportunities. So you can see here how n number of products that can be derived from the pine needles. Start from your biomedical products, so nanographene, biodispersant, biochemicals, bio-ink, biofoam. These all are eco-friendly products. Biofertilizers, construction materials. Okay, so there is an n number of opportunities are there. For that, all the scientists and engineers, they have to collaborate together to develop these sustainable solutions. So thank you. In the last, so I will again want to thank Dr. for inviting me. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. The way you presented on the problems related to pine forest products, as well as their potential for utility to humanity in various forms like particle boards, textiles, packaging materials, nanocellulose, food production, etc. It was very insightful and it resonated well with our audience.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Kanupriya.
And I'm Vishali.
We are the students of electrical engineering and we are going to be the MC for this session of the conference. We are delighted to announce that Dr. S.P. Guleria, Director cum Principal from Jawaharlal Nehru Government Engineering College, Sundarnagar, has graciously accepted our invitation to be the chairperson for this session. Now, with a great pleasure, let's extend a warm welcome to the Dr. S.P. Guleria. There's one rule to give the presentation that maximum time given for each oral presentation is 10 minutes. However, the bell will be rung after 8 minutes in order to remind the speaker. All are requested to please take care of the time duration. Now, I would like to call Mr. Betatri Shah from Career Point University, Hamirpur, and his title is Review of Saturation Indices for the Corrosion and Scaling Potential in Water Distribution System.
Online join. Online, I think so.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Sir, am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible. Just we take 1 minute to connect you. Request you to stay online.
Okay, sir. Okay.
I think. Ask her to switch on the camera. Ask to switch on the camera.
And can you please switch on your camera?
Okay, sir.
Yes. So, can you see us?
Is it visible? My presentation is visible, sir?
Yeah, visible. Yes, visible now, ma'am. You can start.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. So good afternoon, everyone present in this conference in the seminar hall. My topic for the presentation is review of saturation indices for corrosion and scaling potential in water distribution system. I am Mrs. Bedatri Saha, PhD research scholar in Department of Civil Engineering, Career Point University, Hamirpur. So this is my presentation outline, introduction, corrosion with its factors, scaling with and its factors, and different corrosion and scaling indices I will be explaining to you. Then a comparison of these indices, some literature reviews, and finally some research gap and conclusion and references. So in the introduction part, as we all know that the corrosion, when we are talking about corrosion and scaling, it is a mostly related with water quality. And I would like to express that this corrosion and scaling is expressed as a problem issued in plumbing system or water supply system, and also it affects in the economic and health aspects in our system. So what is corrosion? Simply, if we recall it from our chemistry, that it is a physiochemical reaction with metal and its surroundings, like the metallic pipe or any plumbing system upon the environmental effect or its surrounding conditions. So some anodic reactions will happen and some cathodic reactions will happen. Due to this, several metallic repercussions or several metallic compounds will create that will affect our health also and the economic system of the water supply scheme. Like copper, if we are using copper plumbing fixtures or any pipe, the copper will contaminate our health, the gastrointestinal problem in a very short time, and the damage of liver or kidneys over a long period of time. Like lead, it contaminates physical and mental development of children in a long-term effect. And in adults also, lead affect the blood pressure and kidney problem in adults. So I will represent some picture And these pictures are very common. We can see this type of conditions in our house plumbing system or house pipes or any joint with valves or fittings. We can see several thin film or layer on the pipe or the joints of pipe, like red stain if it is a iron or steel plumbing system, some blue or green stains in copper or brass plumbing systems also. We can also observe some pits, maybe deep, may not be, it can be shallow also, in that occurred in pipes or tanks wall, metallic pipe and tanks wall. Copper and other metals also oxidize in a process similar to rusting, and it can also destroy the water valves also, or any type of plumbing system and other water control fixtures. So there are different forms of corrosion. It can likewise I can explain it in by this diagram. It can be visually inspected, and there are different names are also written here, like uniform corrosion, pitting, maybe erosion, maybe cavitation, intergranular corrosion in a micro level can also be observed. And by microscopic examination, we can observe it like cracking formation in the corrosion of concrete also, and in the pipes, plumbing system, any valves also, and the temperature, high temperature attack in the plumbing system if the surrounding conditions are with a very high temperature. So, if we list out the factors that causes the corrosion, there are many material, maybe some environmental conditions, the stresses in the plumbing fixtures, maybe valves, maybe pipes, the geometry of the pipes. Maybe it is uneven in surface area, the temperature, and the time. With time, it will also deteriorate with the passage of time, actually. Now coming to scaling, if the second problem we will talk about, the scaling happens only when there are a high level of minerals already present in the water. So commonly we know that calcium sulfate or calcium carbonate scaling are a common problem in the water. I can express this with this diagram. It is a water supply pipe with a very high diameter, but the internal diameter is decreased with a heavy corrosion effect, as it is seen in the diagram. So there are factors like supersaturation with those minerals, pH effect, some temperature effect is also there, and pressure and with stress are there, which affects the scale formation tendency of the water to a plumbing fixture or any pipe or valves. So, coming to the saturation indexes, these saturation indexes I have listed it down. These saturation indexes give us an idea to check the tendency or potential of the corrosion problem or scaling problem. Like there are Langelier saturation, Reisner, one by one I will be explaining it.
Slide share on.
Langelier.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
It is not visible here. Can you go for a slideshow in that? I think so.
Yes, sir. I am already showing it. It is in slideshow mode only.
You just close it and share it again.
Okay, sir.
Yeah,
I think
now it's visible. Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Even
Slideshow mode.
you can go for. If you can go for a slideshow mode, it will.
Yes.
Is it visible, sir?
Yeah,
It's visible, but you need to switch on the slideshow mode.
slideshow mode.
Press F5.
Sir, I am already.
Hang over. Yeah, click it now. It's not working. I think so.
We need to focus on the slide on which you are talking.
I don't think so. It will work.
Madam, do it on full screen.
Yes, ma'am. I am doing it only.
And then close it first. Close it first and then reopen it.
Now it is visible, Langelier saturation.
Madam,
Yes. The slide is okay.
Okay.
you need to close it first.
I'm doing it by F5. Okay.
Yes. But I think you need to close it first.
Ma'am, please close it and share it again. The problem will be resolved.
Okay, sir.
ऐसे होता है पहले आप कनेक्टेड होते हो बाद में पहले से खुली होती है फिर नहीं चलती दोबारा वो कनेक्ट करें अब ठीक हो जाएगी अब करेंगे एक फोटो कम करनी पड़ेगी कुछ
I think continue करवा देते हैं.
हाँ continue. You can continue, please. No problem. Go ahead.
Is it visible, sir?
Yeah, visible. Yeah, please go ahead.
You can
Okay.
Continue, please.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. So the first I'm talking about the saturation, different saturation indices. So first one is Langelier saturation index (LSI), and it expressed as pH minus pHs. S is saturation, and pHs is expressed as further by TDS. The water quality parameter is TDS, total dissolved solids, temperature in degree Celsius, calcium as a calcium carbonate, and alkalinity. The second saturation index is Reasoner's stability index, 2 pHs minus pH. So same, likewise, pHs is pH at saturation. So I'm going fastly because it is the time is going on. So it is a comparison table of different saturation indexes, which give an idea to interpret the scaling and corrosive properties. And all these in the indices, there are alkalinity, TDS, and temperature, the calcium and sulfates, like at the bottom down, CSMR is calcium chloride sulfate mass ratio. So these are the only water quality parameters that are indexed in this LSI or RSI or Picurius PSI, Larson's cold and aggressive index, and CSMR. But I have already some literature review also. Some of the from Indian, like Bangalore and South Delhi, and some of the from different other countries like Bangladesh and Iran, what I have got. But I want to focus on the research gap, so that what I am talking about, that some common water quality parameters like alkalinity, TDS, chloride, sulfate, temperatures are there in the saturation indexes. But we know that in the water, commonly dissolved oxygen are present, which is very important for aquatic lives. So there must be some effect of dissolved oxygen also, and we know from chemistry that oxygen is helped to oxidize the metal, and from this oxidation there will be the corrosion effect on the pipe or plumbing system. Likewise, DO, chlorine, and pipe age, what type of other corrosive gases are dissolved in the water flowing in the pipes, those are not mentioned in the saturation indexes what I have previously listed out. So my research work is based on those research gap what have not indexed in the commonly used saturation indices. And this is my presentation. Further, I am doing my research work, and these are some of the references what I have listed with some literature reviews. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to Government Engineering College, Hydro College, Bandla, and HPTU Hamirpur. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Now, I would like to call Mr. Ashish Thakur from JNGC Sundarnagar, and his title is Nanotechnology Innovation for Improving the Strength and the Durability of Concrete.
प्रेजेंटेशन मोड पे जाओ। अच्छा ठीक है, कोई somebody ठीक है, जो यूज कर रहे हैं उनको दो, 8 मिनट के बाद 10 मिनट के बाद 8 मिनट में एक बार 10 मिनट थोड़ी बड़ी दान 8 पे एंड 10 पे जरूर पड़ी जाती है।
वो सर स्लाइड शो बोल में सर बता रहे हैं हम ये यूज करें।
अच्छा हो जाता है।
ये वहाँ पे बेस्ट ये है ना सर कि आप जो अपर बार है उसको भी हाइड कर दो और इधर भी हाइड कर दो,
तो वही उसी मोड में चले दो।
अदरवाइज जैसे स्लाइड शो करते हैं तो हैंग हो जाता है क्योंकि ऑनलाइन आजकल
तो
तो पूरी स्लाइड पर बहुत ज्यादा
होता है
और अदरवाइज सेकंड ऑप्शन क्या उसको पीडीएफ कन्वर्ट कर दो,
वो ज्यादा इजी रहता है
और वो हैंग भी नहीं होता।
सही
ऑनलाइन भी ये चीजें हैं छोटे मोटे हैं कॉन्फ्रेंस में।
स्टॉप शेयरिंग
स्टॉप शेयरिंग चला जाएगा।
तो ये वो ऑनलाइन भी देख रहे हैं लोग, फेसबुक इसी भी चल रहा है, फेसबुक ये फेसबुक भी चल रहा है, हाइड्रो फेसबुक चल रहा है। अच्छा
Good afternoon, everyone. Myself Ashish Thakur. Today, I am here to present presentation on nanotechnology innovations for improving the strength and durability of concrete, a comprehensive review. Here is the content. First one, introduction, type of material, advantages, literature review, conclusion, future scope, and references. First one, introduction. Nanotechnology includes nanoscale science, engineering, and technology, which involves manipulating, measuring, and modeling matter at nanoscale. Nanoscale analysis provide insight into nature of hydrated cement phases and their interaction with admixture, nanofilters, and nanofibers. Next one, type of nanomaterial. There is two types, organic and inorganic. Organic divided into a further carbon and others, and inorganic divided into a three parts, metal, metal oxide, and quantum dots. Next one, advantages of using nanoconcrete. It reduces cost of material. It provides higher strength at early stage compared to conventional concrete. It provides good workability due to low water cement ratio, halting of superplasticizer utilization and silicosis risk. Nanoparticles can fill even micro voids. Next one, literature review. First one, in this study, researchers investigated the effect of adding aluminum oxide to concrete. Aluminum oxide with an average diameter of 15 nanometer were used in different content level. The researcher prepared two series of concrete mixture. First one, control series with no aluminum oxide, and second one, test series with different percentages of aluminum oxide. The mixture was cured for 7, 28, and 90 days to check the compressive strength and workability. The result conclude that the adding of aluminum oxide increased the compressive strength of concrete at all stages. The maximum increase in compressive strength was 18%, which was achieved with a 2% replacement of cement with aluminum oxide. Workability of fresh concrete decreases with the addition of aluminum oxide. Next, in this study, researchers investigated the effect of iron oxide The effect of iron oxide on the compressive strength and workability of blended concrete. Iron oxide with an average diameter of 15 nanometer were used at different content level. The author prepares 4 series of concrete mixture with different content of iron oxide particle 0.5, 1% and 1.5 and 2% by weight of cement. The flagellate strength of concrete mix was tested at 28 days and workability at compressive strength was tested at 728 and 90 days. The result conclude that iron oxide improved the compressive strength of concrete compared to the concrete without the then iron oxide. The optimum replacement level for iron oxide was found to be 1%. The workability of fresh concrete decreases with the addition of iron oxide. The addition of nano iron oxide particle does not significantly affect the flagellate strength of concrete. In this study, researcher investigated the effect of silica oxide nanoparticle on mechanical and physical property of finely blended concrete. The silica oxide used in this work had an average particle size of 15 nanometer. Silica oxide were used as the particles cement replacement by 0.5, 1.5 and 2% by weight. The sample were cured in water and lime solution separately. The flagellate strength and split tensile strength of the concrete mix was tested is 28 days, while workability and compressive strength were tested at 7, 28 and 90 days. Silica oxide significantly increased the strength of concrete like compressive, split tensile and flagellate strength. The optimum content of silica oxide is 1% when cured in water. Silica oxide reduces water absorption and velocity of water absorption in the concrete. Next one. In this study, researcher investigated the effect of zinc dioxide on the strength and water absorption of concrete. Zinc dioxide were partially used to replacement Portland cement with a particle size of 15 nanometer. Zinc dioxide were used as the particle replacement of cement by 0.5, 1.5 by 2% by weight. Specimen were cured in water and saturated lime butter for 7, 28 and 90 days to perform workability, durability, compressive strength, split tensile and flagellate strength. The result conclude that the optimum level of zinc dioxide nanoparticle content was found into 1% of specimen cured in water. Partial replacement of cement with zinc dioxide decreased the percentage of water absorption in concrete specimen. The workability of concrete was reduced when adding zinc dioxide, so plasticizer were used to improve it. In this study, researchers investigated the effect of advanced equipment like atomic force microscopy help observe the highly ordered structure of the amorphous silicates, calcium silicate hydrate gel. Understanding the nano level structure help influence important process in construction materials such as strength development and flexure resistance and corrosion. Under solar radiation, titanium dioxide oxidizing nitrogen oxide in the air, converting it to nitrate. Titanium dioxide photocatalytic technology has been used to create self-cleaning tiles, windows, glass and paint. The result conclude that understanding and engineering the nanoscale structure of cement waste material can lead to stronger and more durable concrete. Silicon dioxide have been improving workability and strength of concrete, adding 0.25% nano silica oxide to standard mortar lead to a significant improvement in compressive strength. It decreased by 17% at 1 day and 10% at 28 days. As we do not have much time, so let's proceed to the conclusion and future scope. Next one, conclusion. Nanotechnology offer opportunity for enhancing construction material in civil engineering. Incorporating nanomaterials like nanosilica, nano zinc oxide, and nano aluminum improve concrete strength and durability. Nanocarbon carbon nanotubes enhance mechanical, electrical, and thermal properties of concrete. The application of nanotechnology in civil engineering lead to more sustainable and resilient infrastructure. Next one, future scope. Formulating Portland cement with nano-sized particles open up many opportunities. Nano cement is not only more economical than organic polymer, but also fire resistance. There have been investigations into using carbon fiber to build smart concrete. Here the real life example. This project was built in the year 2003. The project title as Church was designed by architecture design who used nano titanium dioxide in concrete and used photocatalytic coating for self-cleaning windows. Here is the references we will use. Any question?
Can you tell something about the disadvantages of nano silica in concrete? What are the disadvantages?
जैसे हम जिनको मतलब कुछ भी हम यूज करेंगे इसमें बहुत ज्यादा डिसएडवांटेज है क्योंकि कई बार ऐसा होता है कि
what is disadvantage? What is that disadvantage? The main disadvantage is carbon footprint.
Yes, sir, carbon.
So how much is that? How to remove that? That is research. So that is the research in this field.
तो सर इसके लिए हम जैसे मतलब अभी मेरा काम बेसिकली ये है कि मैंने इसमें गैप देखा जिंक ऑक्साइड के ऊपर तो जिंक ऑक्साइड के ऊपर बहुत कम रिसर्च हुई है और बेसिकली हिमाचल में तो बहुत ज्यादा हाई राइज बिल्डिंग है
आपको जो प्रॉब्लम मिलेगी वो यही मिलेगी कार्बन फुटप्रिंट ही इसकी प्रॉब्लम है यू नीड टू वर्क ऑन दैट देन एनी मटेरियल यू यूज नीड टू वर्क ऑन दिस
One question. You were telling you are going to work on by using a zinc oxide in the concrete.
Yes, ma'am.
So my question is, in your research, you were telling when we add the zinc oxide, aluminum oxide, and the iron oxide in the concrete, your workability is reduced.
Yes.
So how that reduced workability is going to benefit the concrete?
जैसे जो भी हम परसेंटेज यूज करेंगे हमें ऑप्टिमम परसेंट लेवल पे कुछ ना कुछ तो रिजल्ट मिलेगा उसका तो उसी हिसाब से हम चेक करेंगे कि हमारा क्या किस हिसाब से हमारा रिजल्ट आ रहा है
That is the different case. My question is how your reduced workability is going to benefit the concrete.
It's good that you are doing this all thing, right? So when you have this problem of workability, you can use plasticizers, right?
Yes, sir.
Because workability is a very important phenomenon. Doesn't there, you won't get the proper mix, right? Harsh ho jayega. So then when you decide the problems, you decide the quantity to be added, and from that you can start. Literature will help you to build up the what you call objectives, right?
Your research will start from here only,
right? So from gap, what you have said today, you find out the gap, and then you decide how to proceed. Test to be conducted. But madam has told you have to add the super plasticizers, right?
Yes,
because workability is an important consideration, right?
Yes, sir.
You're in first semester?
First semester,
Yes, sir.
right? Good, very good. Good.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I would like to call Mr. Talvinder Singh from Government Polytechnic Kangda, and his title is Intelligent Infrastructure of Electric Mobility.
First of all, I would like to thank Dr. SP Guleria, HPTU, and for giving me the opportunity to present my paper. So currently, I'm working on IoT-based solutions for smart farming and EV charging solutions. So this is our paper. This is our third paper in the row. The title is Intelligent Infrastructure for Electrical Mobility, a comprehensive IoT-based charging and parking solution. So next slide, please. Yes, sir. So this is the outline of the presentation. So first part is the introduction. So what is basically IoT? IoT, we all have heard the name Internet of Things, where we are trying to connect all the devices, like basic household devices, from our smart bulbs, simple fans, washing machines, and even our vehicles. And with the different networking approaches, and to build a smart infrastructure that can be controlled from anywhere, that can be monitored from anywhere. And currently we are building smart vehicles. Most of our new vehicles, like currently which are on IC engines, they are coming with connected solutions. And a new breed of vehicles is rising in market, that is electrical vehicles. And the biggest problem with the electrical vehicles is range anxiety. Most of the vehicles that are being built in our country, based on lithium-ion cells, they are offering a maximum range of 400 kilometers on build. And the actual range that those vehicles are giving is around 200 and 250 kilometers in a single charge. So if you are planning a long trip that is not sufficient, you have to charge your vehicle multiple times. And the problem is that our country is not having a proper resource or proper infrastructure to provide exact information that where we can charge our vehicles, where, or if we are if you are planning a long trip from say Bandra to Delhi, so you are not aware that where I will get an electrical charging source for my EV. And that's a problem which is discouraging people from adapting to EVs, which are like basically better for our environment and especially for our hill state of Himachal. So we are trying to devise a solution, propose a basic architecture that can solve this problem. So when we are using an EV, the biggest problem that I discussed is range anxiety. That can be solved if we are aware in real time that where I will be able to get a proper electrical connection where I can charge my electrical vehicle during the go. So that can be a cafe, that can be a restaurant, but currently in our country we don't have a particular platform or particular standard infrastructure that can provide such information. And for that, many countries are taking initiatives. Governments are building protocols and infrastructures, and our country is still a little bit struggling in that phase. But researchers are working on the topic, so we have proposed a simple solution that can be used using simple controllers, and that can be incorporated in our current EV charging infrastructure. So most of the EV charging stations that you have seen, they draw around 15 kilowatt of power for a single charge for in real time. So for fast charging,
there are two basic modes of charging in an EV: standard mode and fast charging mode. So standard mode that draws around 3 kilowatt of power, and when your EV is in a fast charging mode, that draws around 15 kilowatt of power. So for a context, 15 kilowatt is peak load of 2 households in peak hours. तो 2 घरों की बिजली चाहिए एक सिंगल गाड़ी को चार्ज करने के लिए for fast charge. So when we draw that much of power from in a particular area, that also hampers our power grid. So that basically overloads the grid. So that has to be tackled. But for that purpose, we need already we have a solution for that is called smart grids. And like to strengthen those smart grids, we need real-time information that where most of the EVs are going, where most of the EVs would be charged in say in coming hours, and where most of the people are headed. And that data can be real-time collected using say big data analytics, and we can draw that data from like simply from our say GPS data from where the vehicles are headed. And this is a simple architecture, that basic architecture of a charging system that can be used in our EV system. So there you can see we can simply use a switch say in the switch instead of switch you can think it as a say mobile tower. Your 5G mobile towers, they are basically switches of your say wireless network. So a switch that can communicate with the EVs in real time and provide that data back to the cloud, where a backend server can handle that load or analyze that load on the basis of certain protocols, and then suggest the driver that where he can get optimal power for his EV and a better solution on the go. So what was the basic motivation? So our EV market is growing day by day. Every day, all of the companies like Tata, Hyundai, Kia, they are launching new models of EV, and many two-wheelers are being launched on daily basis. But the problem is, you might have seen all EV companies are offering different power adapters. Nobody is focusing on a standardized power adapter. So if you're buying a car from Tata, you will not be able to use a charger that is offered by Kia or say Hyundai. So for your particular car, you have to use a specific socket and a specific power charging solution. Second is air quality and economic concerns, and urbanization and congestion, our energy independence and grid. And the last is grid resilience and demand management that I was talking about, that when we charge multiple vehicles at one single station, that will simply overload the grid. So during literature review, we went through some 50 papers. We concised it into some way to around 17 papers. The literature review consistently highlights the urgent need for sustainable transportation solutions in India, and rapid urbanization is basically so what are basically, I'll move to the next slide. Basically that part was a little bit covered. So what are our contributions? So we are proposing a new simpler model that can be implemented in our already developing infrastructure which is being developed in our country. So this is the basic architecture, where you can see we can this is the architecture we are proposing in our paper, where the data from the grid and the data from the EVs can be collected and analyzed on a cloud-based server, and that data can be used to provide real-time information to the EV owners who are traveling on the road, and they wish to charge or park their EV in such a place where they can get an optimal solution to charge their EV with say whether using fast charging or a normal charging. and that can be like that can provide additional revenue to the government also. Like if like a proposed protocol is that if somebody is opting for fast charging solution, he can be charged a little bit more, so he can get faster power in lesser time, but he has to pay a little bit more. That is a part of the proposed protocol that we are building, and this solution can ramp up a little bit the adaptation of EVs in our country also. Most of the countries who are focusing on EV adaptation, in those countries, governments are building these architectures. And in our country, our government is basically lacking in this part. If such a architecture is adapted and built by our own government, that will help motor vehicle companies to like attract people towards EVs, and also that will also help like cleaning our environment also. So the conclusion of this, okay, I'll just take a minute. So these are the future scopes. Basically, I just want to discuss these. So advanced predictive analytics can be used. Blockchain integration can be used for providing safer transactions, and vehicle to grid technology, where vehicles can give back excessive power back to the grid. That can also be implemented in their future. Then integration of this project with smart cities, that is quite easy and can be done in very economic ways. And standardization, which we are talking like since morning. So standardization can be used to make this architecture a little more feasible. And then community-based charging solutions that are also a big that like Hydro Engineering College Bandla can build a solar charging station in its own campus that can be used to charge vehicles of their own faculty. And economic social impacts that will be huge of such architectures if adapted. Thank you. So, anyone has any question?
I think another challenge with the electric vehicle is the charging time also.
Yes, sir.
That can also be explored.
Bilkul, sir. Actually, that's why most of the companies are offering two modes. One is standard, and the other one is the fast charging mode.
Right. And the third is the that IoT infrastructure is needed, and another is the network, the mesh network, or the different networks IoT is
So
implemented.
basically, most of the companies, most of the telecom companies, they are integrating IoT solutions in their own network, like Jio, Airtel. They are building infrastructure for IoT solutions to be incorporated.
This is really a great topic for research.
And you said that vehicle to grid.
Yes, sir.
So they will transmit the every power to the grid also.
Yes, sir. So, like I'll give you an example. There is a company called Rivian. They have already built a solution that where you can use your own vehicle to charge to power
Directly.
your home. Your
Home also.
Directly.
Your home also, correct.
Right, right. So it's
Many
not a
companies
reality.
are-
Till date, it's not a reality otherwise. No?
No, sir. Actually, it has been built by some of the companies like Tesla and Rivian. They have adapted.
Tesla has.
Tesla.
Tesla and Rivian also.
Can it be possible in the coming days that a vehicle is charging other vehicle?
Yes, currently it's possible. So Rivian can charge other vehicles.
Other vehicle.
Yes.
One vehicle can give a.
Yes, sir. But that is only 1.5 kilowatt of power.
Not more than that.
Yes, sir.
So for some duration they can travel.
Yes.
Maybe
Yes.
batteries can be done.
इस जगह डबल बैटरी का कंसेप्ट भी आ रहा है ना?
Yes, sir. सर उसके ऊपर एक पेपर कर रहे हैं बैटरी एज ए सर्विस वो अभी थोड़ा सा पेंडिंग है.
Very interesting. Very educative. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, now we are proceeding for the tea break, so please be back in 20 minutes.
10 minutes.
10 minutes. We'll assemble back at, try to come back at in 10 minutes. Okay.
क्या हो गया?
ये तो अनम्यूट ही कर दो क्योंकि ये तो हम बोलेंगे नहीं ना ऑनलाइन तो कोई
बेटा सुनो, इधर की लाइन में जो बैठे हैं ना, इस साइड आ जाओ आप लोग, इस साइड आ जाओ, सेंटर में आ जाओ ना, इधर आ जाओ, आगे आ जाओ, कोई दिक्कत नहीं।
ये बंदा हमारे वाला बंदा है यहाँ पे
Welcome back to our third session. Now, I would like to call Dr. Suresh Kumar from Government College, Una, and his title is Building a Greener Tomorrow, a systematic review of green and natural composite for sustainable environmental practices. Dr. Suresh Kumar.
तब तक बेटा नेक्स्ट नाम ले लो जो अवेलेबल है उनके।
ऑनलाइन है कि ऑफलाइन?
ऑनलाइन।
ऑनलाइन, अच्छा अच्छा अच्छा।
अब ऑनलाइन नहीं हो सकता।
ठीक है, ओके ओके।
हाँ शायद अवेलेबल है ना, एक बार अनाउंसमेंट करो।
Dr. Suresh Kumar from Government College, Una.
अच्छा अच्छा अच्छा।
कर लेंगे रीजॉइन। अगले नाम भी अनाउंस कर दो ताकि वो रेडी हो जाए।
Next, Dr. Shweta Sharma from Government College, Una. And after that, we will be Dr. Desh Rai from Atal Bihari Vajpayee Government Institute of Engineering and Technology.
Good afternoon, ma'am. मैं start कर सकती हूँ क्या?
Suresh Kumar is not, Madan Lal is not there, and Dr. Suresh Kumar is not there. Let's find it out. Dr. Suresh Kumar is not there, no?
I think Dr. Shweta ma'am, you can continue with your presentation.
Yes.
जी, thank you sir, thank you sir.
कैमरे पे
सर मेरी स्क्रीन विजिबल है?
Yeah, it's visible. You can switch on your camera also, please.
Okay sir. From there sir. Sir, I'm not able to. सर मैं ऐसे ही कंटिन्यू कर दूं प्लीज, काइंडली।
Yeah, please continue. Please continue. Please continue.
Thank you sir, thank you sir. Okay sir, I'm Shweta Sharma from Government College, Una, and the title of my presentation is Inhibiting Corrosion, Sustaining Future and the Role of Inhibitors in Metal Protection. So as my topic is related to the corrosion, so I would like to start with the few definitions of the corrosion. Corrosion is the deterioration of the material as a result of the reaction with its environment. Sir, am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Okay, sir.
Few more definitions are also there, like it's a surface wastage when metals are exposed to the reactive environment, or there is an electrochemical reaction that takes place between the metal and the surroundings. Then, sir, next is corrosion is the cause of the significant damage to the society as it deteriorates the structural innovation and the engineering materials. According to the study of the NACE international projects, approximately 3.4% of the global GDP, there is a loss due to the corrosion, sir. Next is as a mechanism of the corrosion. I am explaining it with the help of the very common example, that is rusting of iron. So, as there is electrochemical reaction that undergoes at anodic area, the iron will get converted into the ferrous ions, and at the cathodic area, there is the evolution of the hydroxide ion. Then sir, Fe2 positive react with the hydroxide, and there is the formation of the iron hydroxide, which on further oxidation get converted into the ferric oxide, which is rust. Then, so there are different factors which are affecting the corrosion, like the nature of the metal, where the metal is present in the electrochemical series. That is very important. The metal with the negative standard reduction potential, that is more prone to the corrosion. Generally, at high temperature, corrosion rate is high. Generally, in the acidic medium, corrosion rate is high. Then humidity, with the increase in the humidity, corrosion rate increases, and due to the presence of the impurities, corrosion rate also increases. Impact of the corrosion. Sir, corrosion has a huge economic and environmental impact. It has the effect on the small screws to the large machineries in our day-to-day life. Virtually all the objects, metallic objects, they are affected by the corrosion. Then, sir, there is there is a threat to the human health, and the environment is also involved. There is a loss of production, loss of time, loss of energy is also there. Financial loss is also there. Then, sir, we have to, so sir, we have to protect our metallic structures from the corrosion. Corrosion control for the metals or alloy is of the technical, aesthetical, economical, or the environmental importance. We cannot prevent the corrosion, but we can only control the corrosion by knowing about the corrosion, and by knowing about the different techniques which we can use. We can only prevent our loss. So whenever we are using any material to protect the metallic structure from the corrosion, the different techniques by which we can validate whether the metallic structure or the metal is being protected by that particular inhibitor, that can be validated with the help of the different techniques that are mentioned in my slide. First one is the weight loss measurement, then the electrochemical impedance spectroscopy, then the polarization technique, and finally we can validate it with the surface analysis, that is scanning electron microscopy and electron force microscopy. So first of all, weight loss measurement. This is the very basic technique which we can use to find out the inhibition efficiency and the surface coverage by an inhibitor. For this, we have to take the metallic group, and then we have to immerse it in the test solution for a particular time period in the specific environmental condition. Then, sir, the weight loss which we measure from that, by using that weight loss measurements, we can find out the value of the inhibition efficiency and the surface coverage by the formulas given in the present slide. Then, sir, next is the electrochemical method. Two types of the methods are there, which I have already named: electrochemical impedance spectroscopy and the polarization technique. Sir, for the electrochemical impedance spectroscopy, measurements are taken over a particular frequency range, and the frequency range for my studies is 0.01 hertz to the 100 kilohertz. And for the potential dynamic polarization study, the measurement are taken over the potential range, and the potential range for my study is the minus 250 millivolt to plus 250 millivolt. And by calculating the values of the RCT and the current values, we can find out find out the value of the inhibition efficiency by using these two formulas already given in the present slide. Then after measuring, or after taking the measurements from the EIS and PDT, we can have the two type of the graphs from the electrochemical impedance spectroscopy. The first one is the Nyquist plot, in which we get the semicircular loops, which are mentioned here. Here I have used one of my compound and immersed in a 1 molar HCl, and different at different concentration of my compound. Sir, next is the Bode plot. Here we plot the frequency against the phase angle and log of the Z modulus. Then, sir, with the help of the PDP, we are able to find out, we are able to draw the graph which we call Tafel curves. And here we plot the log of the current value with the potential. Sir, broadening of the loop in case of the Nyquist plot, we get an idea. One second. There is a broadening in the loops. That means diameter of the loop is increasing. When we are increasing the amount of inhibitor which we are using, then phase angle is increasing in the first graph, and then there is the that shows that inhibition efficiency is increasing every time with the increase in the concentration of the inhibitor. Then increase in the phase angle, that means the surface roughness is now decreasing. Then, sir, RCT. Resistance value is increasing. That means now a thin layer of the inhibitor is being formed on the metallic surface, which is protecting the metallic surface from the corrosion. Then, sir, in case of the Tafel curve, current values are decreasing, and here in my study, the current values are deviating toward the more negative value. But when we calculate the value was in between minus 85 millivolts to plus 85 millivolts. That means the inhibitor is behaving as a mixed type of the inhibitor and inhibiting both type of the corrosion, that is cathodic and anodic. But preferably it is because it is deviated to the more negative value, so cathodic inhibition is more prominent here. Then, sir, finally, we can do the surface analysis by using the SEM and AFM. SEM is a qualitative way to validate our results, and AFM is the quantitative way to analyze our results. For example, if we are taking a sample and we are here three pictures are there, A, B, and C. The first picture is when the metal is a clear metal. B, when we are keeping the metal in our test solution, and C, when we are keeping the metal in the test solution containing a specific concentration of the inhibitor. So, if you look at the picture number B and C, it is very much clear that now the inhibitor is protecting the metal surface from the corrosion, and there are very less roughness in the picture number C as compared to in the picture number B. So roughness is reducing. This is also validating our results. Again, AFM. AFM gives us 3D topography and is the quantitative way of analysis. Sir, with the help of the AFM, we can have the values of the average roughness and the root mean square roughness. We look at the values when the metal is kept in the pure test solution, and the metal is kept in the test solution containing the particular inhibitor. Then there is the decrease in the roughness value, sir. So this is also validating the results that the metal is being protected by using the inhibitor in our test solution. So finally, the conclusion, the literature suggests that the use of the inhibitor is an excellent technique for the corrosion inhibition. And these, all the different techniques which I have explained, they are very much useful, very much helpful for validating our results. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
And question from your side, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Our next presenter
Thank you,
is
sir.
Dr. Desh Raj from Atal Bihari Vajpayee Government Institute of Engineering and Technology, and his title is Phenomenology, a new hybrid texture for neutrino mass matrices.
Good afternoon, sir. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible. Kindly switch on your camera, if possible.
Good afternoon, sir. Shall I start, sir?
Yeah, please.
Myself, Dr. Desai Thakur, and I'm working as assistant professor at Atal Bihari Vajpayee Government Institute of Engineering and Technology, Pragati Nagar. So I'm presenting my work on phenomenology of new hybrid textures for neutrino mass matrices. So basically, what are neutrinos? Neutrinos are neutral spin of elementary particle most abundant on the next two photons. So in 1930, Wolfgang Pauli proposed the existence of neutrinos to guarantee the conservation of energy and momentum in radioactivity. So they are basically theoretically proposed. Later on, in 1956, Frederick Rowan and Claude Cohen confirmed the existence of these neutrinos through US beta decay process. So I will go to that decay later on. So what are the neutrinos? What are their contribution in the universe? So in the universe, neutrinos contribute 0.1 to 2%. Around 73% is the dark energy, 23% dark matter, and ordinary matter is 4%, out of which only 10% is visible. That means we can detect through our detector. So sources of neutrinos. There are various sources of neutrinos. Neutrinos are produced by Big Bang explosion. That is thought to be the you can say that through the our universe starting. Astrophysical accelerator like pulsars, natural radioactivity in Earth's core in Earth's mantle when radioactive material decay. Supernova explosion when the star dies produces enormous amount of energy is carried over by the neutrinos. Thermonuclear fusion in the stars, like our sun, in thermonuclear fusion, neutrinos are produced. Cosmic rays, when primary cosmic rays interacted in the atmosphere through the ions of the atmosphere, their neutrinos are also produced. Particle accelerator and nuclear reactors. So this is neutrino detector. Claude Cohen and Fred Rains, they was awarded Nobel Prize in 1995 for detecting the neutrinos experimentally, and this is the prototype of their detector. So they have used photo detectors to detect the photons basically. And where does this photon came? So when an antineutrino, you can see in this interaction, when this antineutrino interacting with a proton, a neutron and a positron is produced. So neutron interacting with cadmium produces a single photon, and then positron, which is the antiparticle of electron, interacting with an electron, producing two photons, two gamma particles. So ultimately we have here three gamma particles or three photons. So these photons are basically detected. So which confirms the existence of neutrinos. So standard model of particle physics is one of the finest theories of particle physics, explaining the strong, weak and electromagnetic interactions. So first two rows here corresponding to the quarks, which shows us three families of the quarks, up, down, charge, strings, top, bottom, and later two rows correspond to the leptons. Here we have the three families of leptons: electron, muonic and tauonic, and corresponding neutrinos: electronic neutrinos, muonic neutrinos, and tauonic neutrinos. So basically we have three flavors of neutrinos here, and this column corresponding to the force carriers, also known as the mediators, which mediate the force. So first is the gamma, which mediate electromagnetic force. Gluons correspond to the strong force, such as the strong force among the quarks. And the mu boson and Z boson corresponding to the weak force. So now let's go to my current work here. So this is the current experimental data that we received from the neutrino oscillation experiments. So we have the 3 sigma data on 3 mixing angles, theta 1, 2, theta 2, 3, theta 1, 3, CP violating phase, and 2 mass square differences. So this is the experimental data that we have at present. So what are the issues that need to be resolved in neutrino physics? So first one is that nature of neutrinos is not pinpointed, whether neutrinos are Dirac particle or Majorana particle. Absolute mass scale of neutrinos, what is the exact mass scale? Whether it is the E scale, whether it is in the TE scale. Neutrino mass ordering, whether normal or inverted. Octet of neutrino mixing angle theta 2, 3, whether it is greater than 45 angle or less than 45 angle. CP violating in the leptonic set. Role of neutrino in matter, antimatter, asymmetry of the universe. and existence of sterile neutrinos, which is one of the component of dark matter, sterile neutrinos. So the motivation for the form of neutrino mass matrix, and so what we know about neutrinos is the mass square differences and mixing angles. All these data as well as CP phases are encoded in the structure of 3x3 measurable neutrino mass matrix. Many viable ideas on the possible structures of neutrino mass matrix like quasi-degeneracy, mu-tau symmetry, bimaximal mixing, dominant mu-tau block, flavor symmetry, and texture structures. These are the viable ideas. So basically researchers are exploring these viable ideas and searching for any underlying flavor symmetry or family symmetry is there among these viable textures. So during the past several years, enormous progress has been made in determining the neutrino masses, mixing, and in the study of neutrino mass matrix. Non-zero and relatively large mixing angle has been confirmed in the oscillation experiments. Relatively large 3.3 mixing angle has brightened the prospect for exploring the R-type CP violating phase and update of theta 2-3 atmospheric mixing angle and identifying the neutrino mass hierarchy. So current available data on neutrino masses and mixing is not enough to determine exact shape of the neutrino mass matrix. Several attempts have been made in the literature to describe the form of neutrino mass matrix like texture zeros, vanishing cofactors, hybrid textures, equality among elements, and zero determinant. So in this work, we propose new hybrid textures for neutrino mass matrices. We investigate a specific class of neutrino mass matrices which contain two texture zeros and a texture equality between non-zero elements of neutrino mass matrices. Due to less free parameter, these textures are phenomenologically more predictive as compared to the model with two texture zeros, two vanishing cofactors, and hybrid texture that has been recently studied. So the detailed phenomenological investigation of these textures is expected to be quite rewarding as these textures are able to distinguish between the normal ordering and inverted neutrino mass, which is also known as normal and inverted mass hierarchies. So these are the 42 possible structures of neutrino mass matrices. So here this delta corresponds to the two equality between the elements and this cross corresponds to the any non-zero element. So we have had total 42 combinations. So formalism, out of these 42 structures, only here 22 are independent. Other 22 are related to the mu-tau symmetry. That means they are going to give you the same result. So we need not to go to all these 42 structures. We can get the same results only through the 42 structures. So here we use the formalism. I think I'm not going into the detail of these mathematics. So we use here the conditions for mass square differences, which are through which experimental data is constrained, and the ratio of mass square differences, and we get the final condition is in the form of this lambda. And from this equation, we can this complex equation can lead to the following two equations. This is equal to 0, so the real part and imaginary part should be simultaneously equal to 0. So this equation can further be solved to calculate the mixing angle theta 1, 2 and one phase angle for each texture. So hence it is possible to calculate the 6 unknown parameters, namely the two mass.
इंटरनेट प्रॉब्लम
उनके सिग्नल की दिक्कत है,
उनके फोन कर देते हैं, कोई बात नहीं.
One phase angle in terms of other parameters. So this is the predictions that we get from all the viable textures. Out of 42 textures, only 8 textures are viable in the current neutrino oscillation data. And out of these 8 textures, we can see only 6 are viable for normal mass ordering and only 2 are viable for inverted mass ordering. So these are the range of unknown parameters that we get for all our viable textures. So, and these are the correlation plot among various Newton oscillation parameters for our textures. Like first row corresponding to the texture A1 4, and this corresponds to the A26. So these two basically structures are related to one oscillatory, so they are giving us the similar results.
Okay. Dr. Desraj is nice, very nice, and hopefully we have understood everything. Can you conclude, please?
Okay, sir. So among the 42 possible textures, only 8 textures are viable. And out of these 8 textures, only 6 are viable for normal mass ordering and 2 are viable for inverted mass ordering. So one texture A1 predicts atmospheric mixing angle θ23 less than 45, and these textures A24, C2 and C6 predicted atmospheric mixing angle greater than 45 degree. All viable textures with normal mass spectrum predicts vanishing effective neutrino mass. So this all predicts the this vanishing. That means it can go to the zero. On the other hand, textures with inverted spectrum C2 and C6 predict effective neutrino mass non-zero. That means it cannot go to zero, and it has a range 0.036 to 0.039 and 0.035 to 0.038 respectively. All viable textures admit a large BR-CP volatility phase. So to a large value of BR rephasing invariant. So it can go to the GCP, it can go to the greater than, it can be up to 0.2. For textures C2 and C4, the BR-CP volatility phase can never be equal to 90 degree or 270 degree, 3/2. So whenever for a other viable texture, the value of delta 90 or 270 degree is acceptable. So these are the conclusions. Thank you. Any questions, sir?
Dr. Desraj, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
My question is, are these the coding, is this the experimental results or coding through MATLAB or something else?
Yes, sir. We basically, if you see that, from the experiment, we get this information. I'm showing my slide here. This is the experimental data. So this is the neutrino experiments that the data we are going. Basically, the experiments for these to get this data takes quite a long time, and experimental setup is quite huge. For example, one experiment is going on the South Pole, ice cube, mainly the ice cube, and whose detector is of size greater than 1 square kilometer. So it takes a lot of time to find basically to perform the experiment. So experiments gives us this data. So basically, what we do, we did model building. We give a model. So that model can fit the neutrino oscillation data and give some predictions on unknown parameters.
Okay.
So that is what we do, sir.
Okay, means this is all experimental work and later validated through some models.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Right, modeling is done later. Right.
Yes, sir.
Very nice. Nice work. Very nice work. Very
Yes,
nice.
sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Now, I would like to call again Dr. Suresh Kumar from Government College, Pune.
Hello.
Dr. Suresh Kumar ji.
Ji, sir.
You can go ahead, please. Start the presentation.
Okay, sir. Sir, screen is visible, sir?
Not yet.
Yeah,
Yes,
you are trying.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. Now it's visible. Please
Okay,
start.
sir.
Please start.
Thank you, sir.
Can
Okay,
you
sir,
switch on your camera also? Can you switch on your camera?
Yeah, he's trying.
1 minute, sir.
Optional. बंद हो जाती है. Anyway, Dr. Suresh, you can start, please.
Okay, sir. Thank you, ji.
At the end, when you close your presentation, you can show your face also later.
Okay, sir. So this topic of my presentation is, sir, building a tomorrow, a systematic review of green and natural composites for sustainable environmental practices. Introduction. The 21st century confronts humanity with unprecedented environmental challenges, compelling an evaluation of conventional practices and materials in order to develop sustainable alternatives that can harmonize industrial progress with ecological preservation. In this context, the pivotal role of materials in shaping our environmental footprints becomes glaringly apparent. Traditional materials, often derived from finite resources and notorious for their non-biodegradable nature, have contributed significantly to the environment degradation. The persistent use of such materials intensify concern related to resource depletion, energy consumption, and worsening of issues of plastic pollution. The importance of transitioning to sustainable material is underscored by the urgent need to mitigate climate change, conserve
Your slide is not getting changed. Dr. Suresh, your slide is not working. Actually, we are stuck on the first slide itself. Yeah.
This is second slide, sir.
So second slide is not visible to us.
This slide is not visible.
Only first one.
Okay, sir.
Where the title is mentioned, only that one, the first slide.
Yeah, now it's there. Yeah.
This one, sir.
Now it's visible. Now it's started.
Introduction. Okay, sir. So the sustainable materials play a crucial role in reducing greenhouse emissions, decreasing dependence on fossil fuels, and minimizing the ecological footprint associated with the manufacturing and disposal.
Dr. Suresh, may I request you? The time is very less. Can you leave this introduction and start the experimental or your
Sir, okay.
yeah, your work, please?
Yes.
Or yours is a review. Yeah, it's a review.
It's a review article.
Okay. But kindly don't read out your slides.
Yeah, you directly go to that. Yeah, this type. You can.
Sir, this is a table where I have classified the traditional composites, their types. So actually, composites are the materials which are made up of combination of two or more components, in which the one component is known as the matrix and other is known as the reinforcement. So on the basis of the matrix and reinforcement, we have different types of composites. Say, for example, this laminar composites, ceramic-based composites, and polymer-based composite, bio-based composite, concrete composite. And this is the main slide, sir, actually, where I will discuss what are the main hazards of these environment, these traditional composites. The number one is raw material extraction and resource depletion, energy consumption, and then we have chemical pollution, and waste generation, non-biodegradability, end-of-life disposal challenges, air emissions, etc. Now, water usage and contamination and limited recycling. These are their environmental implications. Now, coming to the main topic, the green and natural polymers. Now, addressing the environmental hazards associated with the traditional composites requires a shift towards more sustainable and eco-friendly alternatives, such as the green and natural composites, which utilizes renewable sources and exhibit improved biodegradability. Additionally, advancement in recycling technology and development of closed-loop system can help mitigate the environmental impact of composite materials. Green and natural composites represent a category of materials that leverage renewable sources, often from plant-based origin, to create environmentally friendly alternatives to traditional composites. These materials offer a range of advantages, including a reduced environmental impact, biodegradability, often comparable to enhanced performance characteristics.
Now, the raw material for natural composites. Natural composites uses two type of NAF and commonly used in composite material. Biopolymers include biodegradable polymers such as the starch, corn, sugarcane, cellulose. Now, use profile of the natural polymers. These natural polymers, they are used in automobile industry, construction, and packaging. And these are the some types of the green polymers: wood plastic composites, biodegradable plastics, natural fiber reinforced composites, and the advantage of these green polymers. Number one is the reduced environmental impact. Green and natural composite often have a lower carbon footprint compared to the traditional materials, contributing to environmental sustainability. And next one is the biodegradability. Many of these composites are biodegradable and addressing concerns related to the persistence of non-biodegradable materials in the environment. And the third one is the renewable resource. The use of plant-based fibers and biopolymers promote the utilization of renewable source, reducing dependence on the finite materials. And these are the sustainable practices that can be followed: material substitution, life cycle assessment, regulatory support, research and development of educational programs, circular economy, collaboration and partnership, and consumer engagement, waste management strategies, and government incentives. And the last one is conclusion, that is the environmental benefit of green and natural composites, including reduced carbon emissions, resource conservation, and enhanced recyclability, emerge as compelling reasons to advocate for their widespread adoption. These materials represent a tangible and impactful means of mitigating the environmental footprints associated with conventional composites, thus fostering a transition towards a more sustainable and resilient global landscape. Thank you, sir.
Dr. Suresh, can you switch your camera, please? Can you switch on camera?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
One minute. I can.
It's not visible yet. Not visible.
Now, sir.
Yes. Dr. Suresh, this is a small concern from my side.
Yes, sir.
When you add composites, you add fibers. Suppose I wanted to make a body of an aeroplane,
Yes, sir.
or I wanted to make a say certain material which you should have a resistance strength, or sometimes fatigue strength, or sometimes a toughness index. So I cannot go to jute at all, right? Jute,
Yes, sir.
as I told that plants at all, they got a problems. They get doesn't have that much life. So I hope it's true that they may have a small effect on environment. But when you talk about the properties, say we need, suppose I'm making a bus stand, and I want to make the flooring of the bus stand, so I need, abrasion strength. So there I need steel fibers. So I hope see the plants using jutes or this green fibers
Right.
can have an application in some areas. Maybe.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But we cannot substitute the other fibers, like said, other fibers.
Yes, sir. Actually, we cannot say that they are the complete substitute for the other traditional fibers. But since the traditional fibers have more hazardous effect on the environment, so we can look forward to some new green composites with less environment.
Yeah, the problem comes with this, as you talk about a jute. We wanted to use jute, especially for establishment of the, say, hill slopes, or maybe. But the problem is this, that they have a very small life. Say that it very easily retardation with the passage of time. They cannot sustain, you can say that when water started, so they got to lose their life. So we have to talk about treatment of the jute, treating them, then using them. So I hope that can be the way when we can have its long use.
Yes, sir.
This direction.
I agree with you, sir, that there are certain areas where we cannot totally replace these traditional composites with the natural composites. But in some cases where it is possible,
Yes,
we can, so that we can minimize the impact of the traditional composites.
Yes, and then at the same time, we have to look out their application also, where they can be used. Say low cost housing can be one of them.
Yes, sir.
And maybe
I would like to add here, sir, one more thing, that these green and natural composites also sometimes they are expensive. They are not always cost effective. In some cases, they are expensive. So cost is also an issue in some cases.
And then the biggest problem with this is that mixing at all. Say,
Mixing is also
you have if that the crumbing is there. Say you are adding jute fiber, and they
compatibility is also an issue.
That is also a challenge how to mix them.
Yes, sir. Compatibility is also.
It's a view from my side. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your knowledge with us. I once again thank you for being a part of our conference. We appreciate your contribution and we wish you continued success in all your endeavor. Thank you all.
चलो कल आ जाएगी कल आएंगे दूसरी शीट में ऐड कर
एक मैं थोड़ा कंक्लूडिंग यार ऐसे तुमने दे दिया ना जान को इसमें तो मेरी आवाज इको कर रही है वापस आ रही है जो मैं बोल रहा था वो मुझे सुन रहा तो उसने जो देख जो मैं बोल रहा हूँ वो ही सुन रहा है.
Okay, so just I would like to conclude and concluding, I requested Professor Himanshu Mangaji for organizing this event. I hope 2 years back or 1.5 years when we came to this place from Nagrota Bhagwan, the biggest challenge was to have established this college. And I am very happy that now the college is visible and it is showing its visibility to everyone. And you have done an excellent job. I congratulate Professor Himanshu Monga, his team, Dr. Abhishek ji, Savi faculty member. Or I am very thankful also from my side and from my institution that invited me. Hopefully this session was very, very educative. So we have total 6 presentations. Dr. Mrs. Vedatri Saha spoke on the corrosions, especially on the scaling potential in the water distribution. She highlighted about certain chemicals which has a lot of the effects of the corrosion. So we have opportunity to see, listen, Mr. Ashish Thakur, who talked about nanotechnology innovations and how it can increase the durability. Especially it was a review paper. He has a review, done literature review. So there was a very interesting talk by Mr. Talvinder Singh, who talked about electrical mobility, especially for new challenges which electrical vehicles are going to have. Our country is going to have witnessed this electrical vehicles movement very, very in the coming days. So the biggest challenge is, as he told, that how to charge these charging stations and their connectivity with the vehicles. It was the biggest challenge. So he spoke on that thing. And thereafter we had a presentation from Dr. Sweta Verma, who was from Government Polytechnic, Government College Pune. She also spoke on a corrosion, but especially what can be the role of the innovators. So on that topic, she gave presentation. Thereafter, there was a presentation by Dr. Desraj, who is a faculty from Atal Bihari Government Engineering College, Bhaktinagar. So he talked about neuromass metrics and its use. And lastly, it was Dr. Suresh Kumar, who talked about how there can be new composites by using the, especially the natural fibers can be used. maybe for sustainable environment practices. So I again congratulate Dr. Sir to you, and this college has proved that they can organize this whole program also in the future. And very happy to see that the college is now, visibility is there. They have started working in the different directions and looking into a way that in future also same type of the such conferences will be organized. Thank you very much for inviting me.
शेवटी 2 मिनिट मैं बोल लेता हूँ आपने बोला तो सर कल आएंगे नहीं मुझे लगता
Please.
Hope I am audible, na? It is not required. Mic is not required, I think. So wonderful having Dr. S.P. Guleria ji here, right? Wonderful views. Session is already concluded by him, but still I wanted to speak something because I think sir will not be available tomorrow. So we are thankful to him also for being here, judging the quality papers, right? So as he said, the work is presented like so many researchers, whatever they are doing, some faculty members of different institution of Directorate of Technical Education, they have done some work, right? And I say this is some learning for students. Why this international conference is being conducted at this place? And sir said visibility. Believe me, only 1 year back I joined here. I am saying only now, but it's a good time that I have spent here with you students. And really, what I can openly say about this institution is the best part is the students here. They are well behaved, well disciplined. Now the next stage is you have to face the world. You have to go outside. Like others are coming here, I wish my students go outside, get some exposure. So the same efforts, I think I tried at GHEC also with my department of Electronics and Communication Engineering. Sir know that. So my point is, if that some iota element is added to your academics, believe me, the placements are bound to come. Right. So your resume, one girl asked in the morning, sir, what should we do if we wish to join DRDO? What weightage we should add to our resume? So believe me, this thing is quite visible. Apart from your regular academics, you need to add something, some element, talk to your teachers extra. And I'm very happy that teachers here at Government Hydro Engineering College, they are ready to give you their time. Right? This is the best thing a teacher can give to any student. And the teachers, they are very helpful to you also. This is what I have seen. This is what my observation is. My point is they are very much available. Availability of the teachers is at your disposal always. So how to take their time? I am also crying for my time. I all the time say to students, if you wish to learn MATLAB, believe me, this is the right time. I hope nobody is connected now. So I'm talking to my students only, or maybe
9 people are connected.
So because I just wanted to talk to students, whosoever are here. So my point is, because you are doing wonderful, go to the next level now, right? Go to the next stage. And we are not here to compete with nearby institutions, believe it. Not only with GHEC, right? Not only with the other neighboring institutions of Directorate of Technical Education. We have to be the best in the business. That is, we have to rub our shoulders with IITs. Once we start doing that, then we need to go for reverse engineering. We need to learn what IITians are doing differently. So if we can do that, at least if we can think in those directions, Government Hydro Engineering College has the potential of becoming the best institution of at least northern region. Yes. So infrastructure is one thing. Second thing is the human resources. And you have got the best human resource that I can tell. Right, being the faculty members, being the staff members, being the students. Right, we have a good time available. You tell me what you want to get, and we will bring everything here. So this is with your support only. You tell what you want. You have great exposure outside also. So I will not speak much now. Again, thanks to Dr. S.P. Guleria sir, because I tell you, I worked under him also. Great leader, right? And what I can say in his presence also that I have given my everything for my department there.
Yes.
Right. This is what I can say sincerely. And this is what I wish to contribute at Government Hydro Engineering College also as a team, because I have got a great team with me. Right. So with my students, with my faculty members, sky is the only limit. Right. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Sir, you're back. Conference नहीं सर conference के तो ये इस पे भी डाल के
आप लोग सुन रहे हैं कि आ जाए आइए करके आप आपकी आवाज कभी बोलते हैं कि आ जाए